Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The NFL released the entire 2026 schedule Thursday, May 14th. Select games are being announced this morning, including the first Sunday night football matchup that'll see the Giants hosting the Cowboys on September 13th. The season will begin on Wednesday, September 9th, with the Seahawks hosting TBD. In baseball Sunday, the Reds made it 2 straight with a 5-0 shutout of the Astros in Cincinnati. Redlegs are 3 games above 500 at 22-19, but 5 games back of the Cubs in the NL Central. Cincinnati's off Monday, back hosting Washington Tuesday. The Guardians are on a 2-game losing streak. Cleveland dropped 2-3 to Minnesota, losing 5-4 yesterday at Progressive. Guardians are 21-21 on the season and have a 1-game lead on the White Sox in the AL Central. Cleveland's going to host the Angels tonight at 6:10. In the NBA, the Wizards won the draft lottery. The Knicks are on to the Eastern Conference Finals. This update sponsored by Green & Sons. Find your next Kubota tractor at Green & Sons, located in Mount Sterling and north of Marysville and Raymond, or online at greenandsons.com.
Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
I'm talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy Austin Ward. My good buddy Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah,
and then
it's a rundown.
And then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only 2 guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
All right, let's do it live on a Monday edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next 3. Bake is here. Saw Bake on Saturday. Reese, you're back, buddy. How do you feel?
How do I sound? All right, well, that's a
Sound
start.
good, man.
Great.
What'd they give you? Tranquilizer?
Some big old
Horse
pill.
pills?
Yeah. It was fun.
Out.
I got to sit in an urgent care Friday watching Stephen A. and Skip Bayless yell at each other.
Oh, my God. You were the one.
Sound was off.
I'll tell you, everybody's sick. All 3 of the boys are dealing with stuff. I think this is what happens when you go from like 46 degrees and rain to 72 and then back to 51 and then 80. And it's going to finally warm up this weekend, hopefully to stay. But this spring has been an absolute brute. Absolute brute. Spent the weekend up in Dublin in the Ohio Middle School Lacrosse Championships. We ended up getting upset in the first round. Really good New Albany team. But the boys battled back. Saw Bake on Saturday. Came out and watched us play in one of our games, which is great to see you. And then Saturday night we went to Bridge Park and had dinner with, as a team or whatever. Went to Urban's place. 2 things kind of jumped out. Number one, like, it was a weekend, really nice, a little cool, but breezy and sunny and all of those things. And as Ohioans, we are so starved for anything resembling like warm and traditional spring that we come out by the millions. I mean, you would have thought there was a Morgan Wallen concert in Dublin on Saturday night. The amount of people that were out and about, both sides of the bridge, just completely packed. Couldn't get anywhere. The other thing that jumped out to me is, I don't know what we're going to do as a society here, but I do feel like we're reaching DEFCON 2, not 1 yet, but definitely DEFCON 2. Adolescent kids on electric bikes. We got a problem on our hands, kids. We got a real problem on our hands. This is a lawless behavior. It's completely lawless. We came out of Urban's place on Saturday night. There were like 3 kids on e-bikes on sidewalks. Now, these things go 20-some miles an hour. Now, I don't know where I'd want like a 12-year-old to ride an e-bike, but my gut feeling is I wouldn't want it on a sidewalk. Now, I also don't know that I'd want a 12, 13, 14-year-old, maybe even 15, 16-year-old like on the main roads anywhere. But at the same time, maybe that seems a little bit safer. There was also a steady diet of Honda Civics that really like to rev their engines as they were cruising through Bridge Park. I was like, this has jumped up a notch since the last time I've been here. But the e-bike thing is nuts. It's absolutely nuts. And they're everywhere. And I get it from a kid's standpoint because what a cool thing. I basically have a motorcycle. Like, what are the laws for these things? Are there any? Or are they just treated like bicycles even though they're not? They're essentially Teslas.
You're supposed to be a vehicle. When you're in the street, you're just like a bicycle, which is just like a motor vehicle. You're supposed to behave like one.
But what if you're 12?
Well,
it's
crazy.
It's a slippery slope, and I know like lawmakers are having to deal with this on the fly as these are coming. Yeah. It was not last season, but 2 seasons ago, the Coldwater football team who won a state championship had a player die on one right before the season started.
That's right.
So they're definitely dangerous. And if you remember, and I believe this is still the case, Bo, they have shut down those electric scooters in like High Street in the Short North. Like if you get anywhere close to their campus, they shut those down because it's dangerous with people around. I can't believe they're letting them roll around Bridge Park like that.
It's crazy.
With all the people.
It was absolutely. I don't even know what you begin to do with it. If so what do they do on like High Street and campus? Do they must just have like them shut off when they get near those?
Well, and I don't know
areas,
with e-bikes,
or do they take them out?
People can buy their own e-bikes, and obviously people can buy their own scooters. But those scooters that you would rent and pay for, they have in their system like they'll shut off like when your money is up or whatever or whatnot. They will shut them off if you go in a restricted area. Like, have you seen some of the golf carts now that have GPS on them?
Oh,
and if you go off the cart path, you better get back on the path or we're going to shut you down. Mm-hmm. It'll do the same thing. It's like you need to get out of here or this is going to shut down and it's not going to go any further.
I hate being a stick in the mud on this stuff because if it were me, this would be the time of my life. Like, if I don't have my driver's license and I'm a kid in the 7th grade through freshman in high school and I don't have a driver's license, I essentially now have a vehicle with one of these. I can go anywhere I need to go, anywhere. But I don't understand, like, from a safety standpoint, I feel like there's a billion red flags with these things, with these bikes. And that, it was probably dinner and everything, and we were headed home, and we were coming out of traditionally old Dublin.
Love you,
and
old Dublin.
Love it. Yeah. So we were coming out of there, and as we were coming out of there, it was, I can't even remember the main street. It was the main street before you hit 270, and there was a kid that was certainly no bigger than Beamsy. So I would say like a 6th or 7th grader, like smaller kid. Now he had a helmet on, but he was going like 20 some miles an hour down the sidewalk, crossing over, and I'm sure headed home or headed wherever. And I just thought, like, as a parent, I don't know how I would feel about that. Like, it's one thing in your neighborhood, but this is a major thoroughfare, and these kids are zooming around like crazy. And as a driver of vehicles, you got enough on your plate just driving around, let alone seeing these things come from any angle. And then walking out of a restaurant is crazy. Like, just get bombed by some kid on an e-bike on the sidewalk.
So here's from the city of Dublin, who entered into an agreement with Vio for their electric bicycles and scooters about a year ago. Some don'ts. Don't block the sidewalk when ending your ride. Don't rent a scooter if you're under 18 years. Don't ride under the influence of drugs or alcohol.
Okay.
Those are the don'ts.
Is there any doubt about 14-year-olds riding e-bikes?
Yeah.
So
I don't know what you do as a lawmaker. That's a tricky spot because I think parents probably like them too because kids can have their own. It's like a bike. Like I wouldn't be saying this if it was a pedal bike, but there's a little different speed component with an e-bike and a pedal bike. You're not going to get Beamsy's not doing 27 miles an hour on a pedal bike.
So, Bo, you need to ask Dami about this because Dami has one. Dami has an e-bike in his possession, and I know this because Michael Ares, who used to work for the Columbus Dispatch, him and I one time were having a conversation about him. He has one, and he goes everywhere on this thing. Like
they're amazing.
He'll ride it down to the arena for press conferences. I think he said he's taking it to Yellow Springs, or he wants to. There's trails that can get all the way up to where you are. He wants to go, and Dom walked in on the middle of this, and then they were comparing their e-bikes. So Dom has one. You need to ask him. But
they're awesome. Awesome.
There's a lot of people in the chat talking about mopeds and how mopeds have to have a license and all of this. I would think these e-bikes need them too.
That's my point. I'm not worried about Mike A. Race. I'm not worried about Dom.
Yeah.
I mean, Dom would only go 16 miles an hour anyway. I'm not worried about that. I'm more worried about little Timmy, who's a 13-year-old going 27 miles an hour at night on an e-bike. That's my concern. And yes, simply, I would say the people in the chat are right. Just get a license, and those things got to be licensed. They have to be. It's absolute bonkers. And they're very affordable now compared to what you would think. I mean, juxtaposed to like a motorcycle. Like, it's a couple $100. Like, it's not like going and buying a motorcycle. And they damn near have the same capacity. Some of them go 30, 40 miles an hour.
Aren't bicycles technically, if you're going to be riding them on the street in traffic, aren't they technically supposed to be licensed too?
I don't know about the license, but Reese is right on the
licensing.
Reese is 100% right on the have to be on the road. That's why we have bike lanes everywhere.
You don't have to
theoretically
have a license to bike or operate those, but you do have to operate like a vehicle.
But then what do you do with kids? And maybe this all just comes down to parenting. Maybe it's just a parenting one more than anything else.
Usually does.
Have some sense. Don't get your kid an e-bike and let him run amok all over a town. Maybe that would be the issue there. Anyway, that was the weekend. It was gorgeous, beautiful weekend, and hopefully a good week to come. Pretty quiet on the sports front overall. Could be something big later this evening from the Buckeyes that I think will please a great many of the people, certainly the one talking on this show. So we'll get into that as it goes along. We had a draft lottery. The playoffs in the NHL and NBA continue to truck along. Jake Trotter going to join us at 10:30. Wrote a very interesting piece on Penn State and what Matt Campbell is trying to do there. We'll get to all of that. We're off and running on a Monday. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
My husband's an animal in bed.
Well, you know.
Not in the fun way. Think warthog. With a chainsaw.
Snoring and sleep apnea affect over 90 million people, and 1 out of 4 couples sleep in separate rooms. Advent can help. We've been your one-stop solution for nasal congestion, snoring, and sleep apnea for over 20 years. Unlike many other practices, we focus exclusively on these conditions, so you get comprehensive care under one roof. Advent's unique approach can help you breathe and sleep better, and many avoid a CPAP. Plus, most insurance is accepted for our effective 20-minute in-office treatments.
Hey, the only animal you want in your bed is your dog.
Advent. Sleep better. Sleep together. Learn how you can improve your life at adventknows.com.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman here for Germain Honda of Dublin. Gas prices are up. You can drive smarter with a fuel-efficient Civic, Accord, or CR-V hybrid. More miles on every tank and keep more money in your pocket. And here's the best part. Great lease and finance rates are available right now for qualified buyers. Get so much more out of your tank of gas. Visit Germain Honda of Dublin. They're just south of 270 on Sawmill Road, or shop anytime at GermainHondaofDublin.com.
Hey, everybody, it's Berm here. Jeremy Birmingham from the Austin and Berm Show on 97.1 The Fan. Last year, I heard Austin's 40 by the 4th message just like everybody else. And I remember thinking to myself, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then I did what a lot of people do. Nothing. And that's why I like Reclaim by Awaken 180 so much now, because it's really about finally taking the advice of people who've actually done it and gotten real results. This is not people guessing. This is not people talking. People who've been there, who I finally listened to. And I dropped 35 pounds in just 7 weeks with Awaken 180. Then I lost 5 more in free maintenance mode. That's why this hits different for me now. Reclaim by Awaken 180 gives you a clear plan, a defined window, and a real finish line. And if you want a powerful goal inside that window, 40 by the 4th is right there. It's not eventually. It's not one of these days. It's right now. So maybe this year, you do what I should have done last year. Go to awaken180weightloss.com. 844-346-1800. Awaken180weightloss.com.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Wilson, it's important to us that when you call Pella Columbus, you talk to a real person.
You should hear how smooth it is when you call us.
You calling right now?
Yep. Oh, here we go. New windows. No, New window operator.
Get the windows that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
Man once shaved Timmy's leg live on the air. Tune in weekdays at 3 to see what else they'll shave. Wait, what else they'll shave? Who the hell wants to listen to that?
Common Man and Timmy, smooth as silk.
Okay, The Fan.
Studies show that people with good oral health are more likely to have good overall health. That's why it's so important to maintain a healthy diet, to brush your teeth at least twice a day for 2 minutes, to floss once a day, and remember to see your dentist regularly. Ohio Dental Association dentists are dedicated to providing the highest quality dental care. Ask if your dentist is a member of the Ohio Dental Association, so you know you're being treated by the best. To find an ODA dentist near you, visit ODA.org.
2 guys drove to work. Neither guy wore a seatbelt. One guy got a ticket. One guy didn't. The same 2 guys drove home. One guy wore a seatbelt. One guy didn't. One guy made it home. The guy not wearing his seatbelt didn't. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We'll see clouds increase as we head into the day today, but lots of sunshine to start with, temperatures in the upper 60s. For tonight, partly cloudy, our overnight lows getting into the upper 30s again and low 40s. Then for Tuesday, we will see a partly sunny to mostly sunny day with more clouds the second half of the day and highs getting up into the low 70s. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Our top men are working on everything except this show.
We have top men working on it right now. Who? Top men.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, Beck, you got maybe some clarification on the e-bike pandemic?
Yeah, a little bit here. So the thing I was talking about with bicycles, there are some, it's rare, but some local municipalities in Ohio that require a one-time bicycle registration / license, although it's not often. E-bikes in most U.S. states, class 1 and 2 bikes that go up to 20 miles an hour do not require a license, though some states have specific rules for higher speed class 3 bikes, and those are the ones that can go up to 30, 35 miles an hour, I believe. Motorized bicycles with engines over 50 cc or certain mopeds, scooters usually require a license or endorsement, and all of them must ride with traffic and obey traffic laws. And the Ohio Department of Transportation has a whole part of their website on all of this that is really good.
It's like the College Sports Commission, though. You got to, if you're not enforcing it, what are we doing?
Well, and I just said to Bo, the only way this is going to happen is it's going to take somebody getting seriously hurt in a lawsuit for them to crack down on it.
Well, the other thing that you didn't say there was any sort of age restriction. I mean, there was nothing about age. It was all about how to behave. It wasn't about age. No, I mean, even upwards of 20 miles an hour, you're 13 years old, that's humming. And if you're on a sidewalk, that's really humming. If you're going 20. Yeah. I mean, it just feels like there was the scooter thing, and now they've upgraded to the bikes. And they look like a lot of them look pretty cool. They look like motorcycles, like dirt bikes, kind of. If you don't look closely, you wouldn't know.
Here it says in the U.S. there's no federal minimum age to ride an e-bike, but most states require riders to be at least 14 to 16 years old. And those class 3 bikes that are the faster ones, it says 16 plus.
Yeah. Reese is right, though. The enforcement is an issue, too. So you have that that you're dealing with. It feels, for me at least, I don't know where you guys are on this, with the exception to the Cavs, which my kids are into pretty big, and James Harden hit a shot. And I banged on him all last week for being brutal to watch, but he hit a big shot in the game.
He still is brutal to watch.
I know.
He had that,
trying to make chicken salad.
He was clutched down the stretch, but boy, it was frustrating. You're up 17 points.
I know. But you now have a series. So they'll get a game 4 tonight. It'll be up there, and you'll get a series in this thing. So they played Saturday afternoon, odd start. Like, even the boys were like, what is going on? Like, we were in between games and trying to keep an eye on it, and they were into it. So that one I'm paying attention to. But I've noticed in the last, really starting end of last week through the weekend, and it could have just been that we were busy with all the lacrosse stuff we were doing, but I didn't find myself looking for any of this. And this is the hockey or the hoops. Like, none of this stuff is catching my attention the way that sometimes it does. It could just be, in the NBA, there's an inevitability, it feels like to me, with Oklahoma City. I see no scenario where anybody's going to beat them. They blow the brakes off the Lakers every game they play, and I know the Lakers aren't whole. My hunch is they're going to do the same thing to Minnesota or San Antonio, whichever one comes out of that series. My only hope at this point for the NBA is that the Cavaliers can get through this series and you can get a Cavs-Knicks Eastern Conference final, because that would be 2 incredible home environments for those games to be played in. I don't know if anybody's beating the Knicks. I mean, they took care of the Sixers in short work. I had that one dead wrong. I thought Philly maybe found something. No, they didn't find anything. The Knicks just absolutely buried them in a sweep. But that's about all I can hope for. And on the NHL side of things, none of this stuff is catching my attention. It just isn't. Outside of the team you root for, Reese, the Cavs, is any of this stuff hitting your radar at all?
Well, just because of my status day to day, I was on NBC yesterday for Spurs Timberwolves, and I think they did a great job. But that's because it was on NBC, and I didn't have to do much to look for it. And I love watching Victor Wembanyama, and yesterday was fun as hell in that sense because I was watching the second quarter. But outside, I pay for the Guardian, so I of course have them on one screen and whatever's available. But yeah, not particularly, no.
Bake, any of this catching your attention? You following any of this hockey?
So I've been kind of following the hockey loosely. I was pretty locked into the hockey yesterday, just the way the day fell and everything. I watched the Reds, then I flipped over to some NASCAR, and that rolled right into the hockey pretty much. And both games were back-to-back on ESPN. So while I wasn't, like, dead in watching like a Blue Jackets game, both games were on, and I was paying attention, and so it was. I was yesterday.
A little bit into it. That's nice. Yeah, if you're looking for something. The other thing was, as I said in the opening segment, the weather was pretty. It kind of cooperated a little bit this weekend. It looks like this week, especially next weekend, could really cooperate in a big way. The thing that I was most interested in was, and as an aside, and again, I got lacrosse kids. I understand a lot of you don't, and sick of it, but the NCAA lacrosse stuff was sensational. I mean, just since all of the games were incredible. It continues to be mystifying to me that somehow Ohio State did not get an at-large when I see some of these scores. And I know the teams that are getting bombed were automatic qualifiers, but maybe you have too many automatic qualifiers if you're going to go get bombed by Carolina 24-6. Ohio State is not losing 24-6 to North Carolina. So I don't understand how all of that works, and they probably need to rethink it. But the games were thrilling. A lot of the games were thrilling. The thing I was most interested, though, in was the NBA draft lottery. I was curious how that was all going to shake out. The Washington Wizards and the Utah Jazz, and to a certain extent maybe the Indiana Pacers, but certainly the Wizards and the Jazz, spent how many years building to this moment? This was the draft that people have circled for a long time, with DeBonsa and Peterson and Boozer and Wilson and Acuff and all this talent. And think about the Utah Jazz play. Ryan Smith is the owner of the Utah Jazz. Are you guys aware that A.J. DeBonsa is a kid from Massachusetts?
Oh, I didn't know he was from Mass.
Yeah. So they moved him to Utah to go to prep school. Okay. Ryan Smith, along with others, got him to BYU. So that's how he's at BYU. So they've been setting up for this for a long time, of getting DeBonsa at number one. So the lottery drops. The Wizards, who might just be the worst organization of my life. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Like, just never, they have not been to a conference final since I was like 5 years old. It's been that long since they've even been to a conference final. It's been that long. They won it with Unseld in the late 70s. Clearly don't remember that. So they get the lottery luck, and they get to draft number 1 overall. Utah, which has about 1,000 picks, I think about the only team with more picks than them over the next 5-6 years is the Oklahoma City Thunder, which ought to be sobering for everybody. But the Utah Jazz have multiple first-round picks in basically every draft going forward. And they have been in business with DeBonsa, their ownership, since he was a high school kid. They get the 2 slot. If you're Washington, first of all, you just sit there happy and go, finally, we got a pick. We're going to get a guy. We'll get DeBonsa, whatever. My hunch is they would take DeBonsa over Peterson after the year that Peterson had at Kansas, which he tried to explain away by saying he took creatine. Okay.
Huh.
Yeah, that was a strange one. But if you're Washington and you know what Utah has done to be in position to take DeBonsa, don't you just wait for the Godfather offer? I don't know what that would be, but it feels like Utah has done everything over the last 4 or 5 years to align themselves to get DeBonsa, and then they ended up getting the second pick. And then the other thing that happened was the Indiana Pacers, who played this entire year without Tyrese Halliburton and were banking on adding somebody to it, their pick was top 5 protected only. So Indiana, their pick, I'm sorry, I think it was top 4 protected only.
Yeah.
Top 4, sorry. They picked at 5. And that pick is now the LA Clippers.
I railed on this Thursday. What happened with Washington, I wasn't thrilled with. What happened with the Pacers, sorry, guys. I'm not. I think the whole thing needs an overhaul. Because the Wizards is the first pick, the first number 1 pick for them since John Wall.
16 years ago or whatever it was, which now we're old, right?
You know,
John Wall.
Right. You know they'll do that well.
Yeah.
I saw stuff like DeBonsa's reaction, because the draft lottery for me is something that like flows on your you can scroll it. You don't have to sit there and pay attention to it. But they had DeBonsa reaction shots.
Not pleased.
Like Tony Soprano reaction shots. Find out the Ducks are gone.
You guys didn't know this stuff with DeBonsa, and I don't think a lot of people realize the DeBonsa.
I didn't know
stuff
that
with Ryan
connection.
Smith. Yeah.
But you see a lot of tinfoil hat going, he's gonna just say, I'll go back to BYU.
He could, I suppose.
You have a month.
There's nothing prevented him. But at some point, he's going to have to go play for somebody. The easier thing, I think, would be, because Peterson's a stud. He's a stud. The easier thing would be Utah puts a package together and gets up to number 1 so they can get their guy. That's the easier path forward there. So the Clippers sit there at 5. And this is these teams that have traded away these future lottery picks. Holy smokes. Utah's in a great spot. Oklahoma City's in a great spot. So something to pay attention to there as this goes along. Something that caught my eye in a big, big way from the Ohio State football team. We'll get to the details on that in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Introducing UDF's new Ice Cream Quakes flavors for summer. Get a sugar rush with cotton candy crackle. Try something crunchy and creamy with peanuts and caramel corn. Feel a chili lime kick with mango chili tango. Or go for a summer favorite with peachy cobbler. UDF Summer Ice Cream Quakes. Only at United Dairy Farmers for a limited time.
Family owned and operated. It isn't all sunshine and rainbows. This is Dennis Sullivan, president of Care Heating and Cooling. Here's something you don't hear admitted very often. When you run a business with your family, you don't always get along with them. We argue, we debate, we have real conversations about the decisions that we make. But at Care, every conversation comes back to our priorities, doing right by our employees and our customers. Because when you treat your team like family, they take better care of the families they serve. And when you treat your customers the way you want your own family treated, trust follows. That mindset doesn't always maximize short-term profits, but it builds something better, long-term relationships. Today, more and more local companies are being bought by venture capital firms, where maximizing profits often leads to a sales-first mentality. Care is still family-owned and locally operated, so we can keep people, not profits, at the center of every decision. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING when you need a company you can trust.
I
love Right Pack Credit Union because they're solution driven.
I feel valued as a member. They're focused on the latest technology and the personal connections.
Experience benefits that go beyond banking with Right Pack Credit Union. Just ask our actual members.
I definitely recommend Right Pack to all my family and friends as a credit union of choice.
Visit one of our Columbus area Right Pack Credit Union member centers near you. Based on individual members' experiences, results may vary.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
What's up? What's up, man? What's up with you?
I'll tell you, pro sports teams do this all the time. You will see them tweet something out cryptic, and a lot of times they do it uniform related. Ohio State sent out a tweet yesterday at exactly 6:14 p.m. and they put it on the Instagram as well. And it is a photo of a kind of there's backlit football player, so you can't tell what he's wearing. And then they put sands through the hourglass on it as well. So we can connect some dots in a second here, but the replies to this are among the following things. These are We Riot. And it's a picture of Jeremiah and Zeke in the home and aways with the heritage gray stripe. The next one, finally, the long national nightmare is over. And it's just from another one on social. And it's just the gray stripe all the way across it. There's one that says, "We're back." And it's got Michael Scott from The Office sprinting around. All sorts of gifs of like the Denzel Washington boom one from Training Day. If this isn't Heritage Stripes, I'm going to crash out. Please be Heritage Stripes, blah, blah. I mean, there's a million of them. They're all suggesting it's that. Listen, you could connect some dots a little bit based on what you saw in the spring game, I would suggest. That something could be in the offering where that is concerned. They took them off in the 2000. It's been 20 years. It was heading into the 2006 season when they wore them in 2005 with the gray, and then they went to the non-gray sleeve striping in 2006. So if they do go back, we have been in that look for 20 years.
Has it been that long?
Yeah. So I got here in 2007, and I remember asking like folks around here, because I've always liked uniforms. I've always been curious about it, how operations want their brand to look, all of those things. It's always been interesting to me. And the thing that jumped out to me, I remember asking people like, well, why did they do that? Was it a big deal? And I remember in the 10 TV sports department at the time, like, yeah, it was a really big deal when they took the gray off the sleeves. Now, I don't know why they did it. I've talked to Andrew Lind, who runs the Ohio State Uniform Database, about this years ago, and he always thought that it was something to do with Nike wanting the same striping on everything, the red, black stripe on everything. I've railed against this for 2 decades. I have. I mean, it's absurd to me that there is not a gray on the current home uniform. Like this jersey does not have gray on it. It's absolutely absurd. So that's always bugged me. I have talked to Urban, Ryan, Ross, Gene, anybody who would listen to me. Most of them didn't. Anybody, please, for God's sakes, can we just put these back? And then in 14, they wore them in the playoff. And that was an attention getter. And then they've done a really cool thing, I think, over the last decade or so, where in the playoff they'll wear them, and it's like a special thing that's out there. My contention is wear them all the time. I think the Buckeye home uniform with the big gray sleeve stripes is the perfect uniform in college football. I think it's as good as anything that's out there. No notes, on to the next, and away we go. If we get those, you can imagine I'll be quite pleased. I hope that we do. I'm hopeful that we will. I hope that that's just what this is about. I haven't seen Ohio State do something like this in all my time covering it, where they're teasing something that to me appears to be uniforms. So I'm hopeful that this happens and that we get them, because I think they're perfect.
It's an incredible job out of them. 614 yesterday, 614 today. That's Ohio. Scarlet's gray's in the color scheme. So it's just one of the most baffling things that they haven't made it your home primary uniforms. So it's a good decision if, in fact, that is what happens with the Heritage Stripes returning today. Ohio State just hasn't looked like Ohio State since.
Not the jersey.
We grew up on the damn thing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's insane. But it's if it happens today, all will be right with the world, because that spring game looked gorgeous. And I keep going back to Ohio State. You want to make a bucket of money for your name, image, and likeness efforts? Put the gray Heritage Stripes on a black uniform and sell that.
Gosh, yes.
You want to do an alternate uniform game? You want to do a blackout? Do that.
Yes. I've been saying that forever. Just keep the same jersey.
Why does it feel so simple, yet it seems like it's just so hard?
And it's so funny. We say the spring game looked so great in those practice jerseys with the gray sleeves. It looked like Jim Carsado slinging it with the old mesh jersey, half of its holes, you could see through it. And that's what it looked like, Jimmy K out there. But yes, please, let's make this happen. It's long overdue. What'd you say? What year was it, Bo?
It was 06.
So it was Troy Smith was your quarterback.
Yeah, you won the Heisman and you played for a national title. Yeah, number one team in the country.
Yeah, and I remember that and how weird it was then that they were doing that. And I believe the guy from 10 TV is correct with Nike. That was a whole Nike thing, as they were trying to streamline their jersey process with everybody in the country, and it just made it easier that they had these the stripes this way for some reason. Let's get this done today. Mm-hmm. And then we can work on making the Jimmy Jackson Grays the Buckeye basketball home jerseys.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Like, Ohio State probably sells more gear than any or as much. I mean, I don't know who's in the vicinity with them. It used to be Michigan sold the most gear. For a while, years ago, it was Carolina sold the most gear. I mean, that color's pretty undefeated. But Ohio State has to sell. They got to be top 5 in the country in like merch sales. Has to be. And it always, to me, felt like they were operating that with like one hand tied behind their back, because their branding has kind of been all over the place. I mean, remember they paid all that money to just color in the state across the O? Remember that years ago? Used to have kind of had like a white stripe through the word state in the block O on like the athletic department one, and they paid a bunch of money and they just basically colored in the state so it's black. They did that. The basketball stuff has been, when your alternates are the best, just wear those. Like the Jimmy J, you can go Jimmy J gray, red, white, or the Clark Kellogg's gray, red, white. Like both of those are pristine and perfect. The Script Buckeye ones are amazing. But you have to wear one as your primary, and I would think as a primary, I would want it to be my very best uniform. And then if you want to do one-offs, like what you guys just said, if you want to do a black Buckeye jersey with a gray sleeve on it, yes, please. I'll take that. Fantastic. My God, they'd look like the Raiders if they wore silver hats and silver pants with those. That'd be ridiculous.
God, it looks so good.
It would be. So hopefully that's what's happening. But then the question becomes, because they will still probably do some one-offs, and they have the all-white look, they have an all-scarlet look, they have the all-black look. I'm curious if they do any of those things, because I actually like some of the pro combat ones that Tress. I didn't like wearing them in the Michigan game, but some of the pro combat ones that they wore with Tress were kind of cool too. So they have a lot of cool stuff that you can use as one-offs, but as your primary, you should look the right way.
I think this just goes back to something too where we've talked about with Ohio State. They're just a team player, and they don't use their stroke like they should. You don't see Alabama doing this crap. You don't see Penn State doing this crap. You don't see Texas doing this. Like, come on. Like, you're Ohio State, and I understand you play nice with Nike, you get all this money, you play nice with the Big Ten, you get all this money. But sometimes you're the big guy on the block. You just got to throw your weight around a little bit.
Yeah. I just don't know if it was, and I think what you just said, it applies to a lot of the stuff with Ohio State. They're really good teammates. Really good teammates with the Big Ten, really good teammates with the Nike, really good teammates with all of this stuff. Oh, sure, yeah, we'll do that. We'll be along for the ride. We'll be your buddy. I do sense that some of that's coming to an end. New television deal, some of this stuff. I think you're going to start to flex a little bit with Ohio State. I think it's long past due. So I know where I'll be at 6:14. Looking forward to whatever that is, and hoping against all hope that there's some gray on the sleeve. Come on, Ryan. Don't let me down, baby. We need you. Come through big on this one. My guess is you'll never see the other uniform again. I don't know anyone's going to clamor to see the red striping.
That's
again.
fine. Yeah, just keep it in the box.
I think they're gone. I think if it goes away, you'll never see them again.
You'll see them when they play Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Because Wisconsin will wear them.
That always bugged me that there was no difference. It was just ridiculous that's what they did there. Speaking of Coach Day, big weekend for him, and the college sports presidents want change in a big way, including something that Reese certainly raised some eyebrows over. We'll get to all of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At Tri-State Men's Health, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. Tri-State Men's Health, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Wilson, what are we wearing?
Lie detectors. Anytime a lie is detected, we get a little shock.
All right, let's try them. So, Pella was rated by homeowners as the leading window brand here in Columbus.
Nothing? Okay. Well, our windows can change the look of your home. Ow. This thing sometimes shocks you when you tell the truth. Ouch. It's okay. I'm having fun.
Get the windows that can change the look and feel of your home at PellaColumbus.com.
Ever wonder where your go-to maintenance person gets the metal products they need to fix yours and everyone else's problems? The best in the business go to Metal Supermarkets for their wide variety of metal products and shapes to tackle projects from simple to complex. Metal Supermarkets is your source for all metals cut to size and ready fast. No minimum order with maximum service. Visit the family-owned franchise on North Wilson Road or at Columbus at metalsupermarkets.com.
At Baths R Us, we believe home improvement is life improvement. As the Midwest's fastest growing 5-star bathroom remodeler, we're more than just transformations. We're a community driven by a mission to bring your dreams to life. Our installation team, part of the Baths R Us community, isn't just skilled. They're dedicated to respecting your home. Each day, they bring craftsmanship and hustle, turning your dream space, no matter the size, into reality. Together, we embrace a culture that values diversity, collaboration, and giving back. From supporting local projects to fostering a workplace where every voice is valued. Baths R Us is more than a company. It's a community of experts. We're also expanding locations to create more possibilities for homeowners across the Midwest. Wherever you are, you'll find us ready to turn your dreams into something you can see, feel, and enjoy every day. Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, loans with no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsrus.com. Baths R Us, where dreams soak in.
Catch Ohio State baseball all season long on The Fan 2. You can find the magical land of The Fan 2 by tuning into 1460 on your AM dial or clicking on The Fan's HD2 feed. Tyler Danberg thanks you. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Tired of snoring? Sleep Better Columbus can help with a custom mouthpiece that opens your airway and stops the snoring. No mask, no noise. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com today. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Come into your local AAA Tire and Auto Service and save up to $75 on brake service. Save $25 on brake replacement for one axle or $75 off for brake replacement for 2 axles. Terms apply. Offer ends May 30th. See store for details.
Disasters strike. Fires, hurricanes, earthquakes. Direct Relief delivers. No politics, no red tape. Direct Relief is a lifeline to people in crisis. So check them out at directrelief.org. And if you can, donate.
Hey, it's T-Bone again. Sleep apnea doesn't have to rule your nights. Sleep Better Columbus has been treating snoring and sleep apnea for over 15 years with proven results and now has an office open in Marysville. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. The perfect show for quarter zips and khaki shorts. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Hey, big congratulations to Coach Day and the whole family, but most especially to RJ, committed to Northwestern over the weekend and will be a Northwestern Wildcat. New stadium going there. Of course, Chip Kelly on that staff as offensive coordinator. So that's really cool, kind of first full circle moment in Chip coaching Ryan and now getting to coach RJ as well. So that's, in the end, you're a dad, right? Your dad and a mom and a kid and all of that, and everybody, you know, how hard the kid worked, and now to be able to play college football and do so under the same guidance that Ryan had, which is pretty remarkable when you think about it, and the fact that Chip's there as the offensive coordinator. I mean, how many people could claim that they were coached by the same person that coached their dad? I mean, just the timing of that is almost impossible. That's got to be a very short list, I would think.
If there's anybody else on that. Like maybe
fathers and sons,
maybe
like
Manning.
I'm sure back in the day it happened more often when coaches stayed places forever, whether that be a high school or college, but it's not going to be frequent moving forward.
No, you'd see it a little bit in high school because you stay in the same town as your dad. Like there'd be some of that, but in college, like I was even thinking like the Boozers, Coach K was gone.
I'm guessing Paterno or Bowden, someone like that probably coached a father and son.
I'm trying to think if there's anybody at FSU who was a legacy. Oh, I'm pretty sure Ernie Sims was a legacy. He's the one I talk about who was the greatest high school football player I've ever seen. He's now a linebacker coach there. I'm pretty sure Bobby coached his dad. So but you're right. You got to be somebody who's been there 40 years.
Yeah.
To be able to do it. This isn't that. This is just circumstances that led to all of it. So really happy for the whole Day family and getting that out of the way. Now you can have a summer of relaxation. We had him on last week. I was curious, like now you can take some, they don't have a ton of time off, but you can take a little family vacation, and like the pressure of all of it is gone once you do that. This was an interesting one. So this happened Friday. Ross Dellinger with this tweet. The college sports presidents' committees have produced a draft of preliminary ideas, including establishing a new governing entity, strict cap circumvention, G6 playoff.
Ooh, baby.
Regionalizing Olympic sports. Okay. Yeah, let's go. This one's fascinating. Capping coach and AD salaries.
Oh, baby.
Eligibility transfer standards, pooling TV rights. First of all, most of this stuff I'm for, and I think most of you out there listening would probably be for too. My concern with all of this is my concern with damn near anything in regard to this is, are you trying to do too much here? Like, can you get one win? Pick one win. Do you want it to be a strict cap circumvention ruling, a new governing body? A G6 playoff, I would love that. I think that would be sensational. Regionalizing Olympic sports feels like a layup. Like just treat football as its own entity. Capping coach AD salaries, good luck with that if you're not also going to cap president salaries. Eligibility transfer standards, pooling TV rights is never going to happen. No chance that anybody in the Big Ten is going to be like, oh, yeah, let's share with Baylor. No, I don't think they're going to do that. But some of this stuff is pretty money. And the regionalizing of the Olympic sports and the G6 playoff, those two things should both be layups. And those two things should not be things that you have any sort of pushback for at all. The G6 playoff, I mean, Reese, you've been clamoring for that for years.
And it's not like there aren't places that would gladly give you a couple $1 million for the rights to broadcast that.
Heck yeah.
If you've got your Power Four that's trying to find places to put their playoff.
Yeah.
And not having a difficult time doing that because ESPN's got it, but they've got too much. And so they said TNT, and my guess is Turner. My guess is Jeff Bezos. My guess is Netflix. Any of these picked a streamer, like, absolutely. We'll take college football on our station, and we'll partner with a gambling service.
Yeah.
You want to bet on some G6 playoff? 100%. Well, the thing about this, so Ross Dellinger had the entire draft posted on his Twitter, and I was reading over the weekend about it, and they will set up, what the college presidents want to do is set up a task force. Now, I am under the impression that there already is a National Collegiate Athletic Association that is supposed to do some of these things.
Yep.
There is a college sports commission who I think was set up to do some of these things.
I know.
And now you're going to institute a task force to do, in fact, what those other two entities were doing. You talk about trying to do too much. I think you've also got too many cooks in this kitchen.
Yeah.
Because my guess is the task force has a different makeup than the commission has a different makeup than those who run the NCAA. And maybe there are some intermingling of persons, but like, let's not create another thing where this time last year you were trying to sell us on the CSC.
They love a white tablecloth dinner and 3 days
those
at a
Marriott
JW
points,
Marriott. They love it.
Rolling over year over year.
Yeah. Marriott owns a lot of properties now, kids. They own a lot of properties. a lot of 5-star resorts in the Marriott catalog now. It's not you're not just staying at your base Marriotts anymore, and those are all fine, but you're not staying at those when you're going to have these commissions meet. It's going to be something else entirely.
And we got to get those write-offs, Bo. We're making too much money. You got to get the write-off to counteract that.
The thing that there's a lot of this stuff that I think we all like, and it's a lot of stuff that we've talked about. And Chip, speaking of Chip, we were just talking about him with being the offensive coordinator at Northwestern. He was one of the first college coaches. This was when he was at UCLA, who said, look, we just got to separate football from everything else. Like, get the Pac-12 back and just have, if you have to, have USC, UCLA, Washington, and Oregon just play football in the Big Ten. Like, just do that. Like, just get the rest of that back. I mean, hell, I remember even coming on here and saying, why doesn't the Big Ten just eat up the entire Pac-12? Just have a West branch of the Big Ten that's called, I don't know, the Pac-10, the Pacific 10 of the Big Ten, and have the other one be the Big Ten, and have them meet in a conference championship game if you feel like you have to have it. But just take all of it. Take that whole league under your umbrella. All these things are entities to fill time slots in television packages anyway. That's it. That's your major money thing. Now, all of a sudden, you have the fourth window that's there for you to be sold. Like, just take them all in under your big, giant umbrella and be a true coast-to-coast conference. And then you have some things that make some sense. Just schedule against each other. You looking for a big non-conference game? A big non-conference game is now a conference game. Play Oregon, play USC, play those teams. Great. Do that. And then have some sanity for the Olympic sports. Like, that, though, it feels really complicated at this point. The Group of 6 playoff is a layup. That's a layup. And I have to imagine that just looking at like last year's, final AP poll, don't you think if you're Tulane, James Madison, Navy, North Texas, who else is in this from the others receiving votes? Old Dominion, Western Michigan, Boise State, Hawaii. Wouldn't you like to play for a national title? I mean, I watched Montana State win a national championship. It captivated an entire state.
And nobody said, well, it's this national championship.
No.
Nobody cares the division. Hanging a banner's hanging a banner. Playing for a national championship is awesome in any division, in any group.
It sure is. And the other thing that it does is it brings back environment on campus for a lot of these places. I mean, Montana and Montana State tickets are hard to come by, especially when they play each other, obviously. But they routinely sell out those stadiums. Now, they're 30,000 people or 25,000 people. Okay, fine. But you got playoff games that are done on campus as well. It's really simple to do. And it's a layup that's just sitting there for you. And then you don't have to worry about this nonsense of force-feeding a Group of 6 team to a powerhouse to be bombed. There's a massive difference between those teams. And so now they can compete for their own thing on their own, punch at their own weight class. It just seems pretty simple to me. All right. I will acknowledge that Friday when Doug came on, I felt a little bit like Colonel Jessup on the stand. He was much more prepared for that conversation than I was. Now, come to find out, he'd done an hour podcast on it the day before. And he zigged a little bit. The more I thought about it, though, I think I may have been right. We'll get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Bobby Carpenter demands that you watch Morning Juice on YouTube. If you don't, Tito will move into your house.
Live at 6 a.m. on YouTube and streaming on the Fan app.
Get comfortable with Logan Services. Get a free water heater with the purchase of a qualifying train system when you schedule your installation now. Find us online to schedule your free estimate. Fast, friendly service, Logan Services.
Hey everybody, it's Berm here, Jeremy Birmingham from the Austin and Berm Show on 97.1 The Fan. Last year I heard Austin's 40 by the fourth message just like everybody else, and I remember thinking to myself, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then I did what a lot of people do, nothing. And that's why I like Reclaim by Awaken 180 so much now, because it's really about finally taking the advice of people who've actually done it and gotten real results. This is not people guessing. This is not people talking. People who've been there, who I finally listened to. And I dropped 35 pounds in just 7 weeks with Awaken 180. Then I lost 5 more in free maintenance mode. That's why this hits different for me now. Reclaim by Awaken 180 gives you a clear plan, a defined window, and a real finish line. And if you want a powerful goal inside that window, 40 by the fourth is right there. It's not eventually. It's not one of these days. It's right now. So maybe this year, you do what I should have done last year. Go to awaken180weightloss.com. 844-346-1800. awaken180weightloss.com.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Thanks. Is oil marked down?
Save up to $15 when you buy 5 quarts and a filter.
And fuel treatment?
2 for $9 on Lucas.
Brake pads?
Marked down to free.
Free?
Get free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 Duralast rotors.
That's several markdowns.
For many more miles.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Coffee, sandwich, hash browns. Tired of the same breakfast routine? Time to refresh your morning ritual with the $6 Tim's Trio from Tim Hortons. It starts with a premium blend of freshly brewed coffee, a hot, savory breakfast sandwich made with freshly cracked eggs, and for a tasty twist, a daily baked donut to sweeten the deal. Ask for the $6 Tim's Trio. Your morning ritual refreshed. Only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, must ask for offer. Medium coffee only. Terms apply.
Fall is a season of change, and Hinderer Motor Company is turning over a new leaf with big savings. This is Justin Hinderer. Right now, any one of our participating locations is paying up to $3,500 over Kelley Blue Book value. That's right. Drive in your current vehicle and leaf with one of ours today. Don't wait. The leaves are falling and so are the prices. At Hinderer Motor Company, we love what moves you.
James Laurinaitis here for my guys at Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. Green & Sons has all the Kubotas you need to tackle your land and come out a winner. They have zero-turn skid steers, tractors from 18 to 171 horsepower, and also utility vehicles. My favorite is my RTV Sidekick. The best thing about Green & Sons is they've been family-owned and operated since 1970, and you will love dealing with the Green family and their winning team. Do what I did and check out Green & Sons located in Mount Sterling and Marysville or online at greenandsons.com for all your Kubota needs.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Now is the time to call Comer & Cross and transform your garage with a gleaming new Comer & Cross garage floor. Maybe your garage floor has exposed concrete with stains and cracks or a bad epoxy or paint job. Well, the new Comer & Cross garage floor will transform your entire garage in just one day. Now, here's the great part of this whole story. If you call them right now, they're going to take 50% off installation. Yeah, that's right, 50% off installation from Comer & Cross when you call them today at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. A Comer & Cross garage floor is the gold standard, guaranteed to never chip, crack, or show tire lift like epoxy or paint ever. Plus, they make it easy. They'll take your stuff out of the garage for you. They'll fix your cracks and pits perfectly like it's a new garage floor, and then they'll apply the proprietary finish that you pick. Yeah, I said it. They'll fix your cracks and pits. What's wrong with that? That's what you want. So call them today at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR to get 50% off installation. That's 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. Or go to comercross.com.
Grilling season starts now at Billiards Plus. Shop top-of-the-line grills and turn every cookout into a win. Then bring the fun inside with pool tables, shuffleboard, and more. Everything for the ultimate game room. Billiards Plus. Grills, games, and good times. Online or on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios. Driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. For the second straight season, the Knicks are in the Eastern Conference Finals. New York eliminated Philadelphia yesterday with a 144-114 win in Game 4 of the conference semifinals. They'll await the winner of Cleveland and Detroit. The Pistons lead that best of 7, 2-1. Cavs are going to host the Pistons tonight at 8 in Game 4 of the series. Detroit's going to host Game 5 Wednesday. In other news, the Wizards won the NBA Draft Lottery Sunday. Cleveland won't pick until 29. The draft is on June 23rd. The draft combine starts today in Chicago. Ohio State's Bruce Thornton was invited to work out for association scouts and talent evaluators. In the NFL, the entire 2026 schedule is going to be released on Thursday. Select games are already announced, including the first Sunday night matchup. The Giants are going to host the Cowboys September 13th. In other news, former Browns tight end David Njoku has signed a one-year, $8 million deal with the Chargers. This update is sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union, voted best credit union for the past 8 years by CBUS Top Picks. Visit BMIFCU.org to learn more.
The best facial hair on the air. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, second hour here on a Monday edition of the program. Every Friday at 11:30, we have Doug on. I usually say something along the lines of time to get smarter, those type of things. What I didn't realize when we had Doug on Friday is that Bill and him, that they did a podcast on the 24 team expansion. Now, if you listen to this, and their angle was, these are all the reasons it's great. Like, don't be afraid to change. It's all great. And he leaned into it with even, I saw some tweeting he had over the weekend about Villanova basketball in 85 when they won it with Raleigh Massimino. Like, they wouldn't have got in the old tournament way. Okay. So this was his take on it. And then he and I got into it a little bit, all positively. But I will tell you, I was not prepared for his preparedness. Like, he was well prepared for this court case. I didn't even know we were going to court. And so when we got done with it, I thought, boy, his angle on that was one that I hadn't heard before. And I think, Beck, you have a little clip of it, right, from Friday?
Like, a lot of this discussion comes from the standpoint of Bama and Ohio State.
I think that's
and it's
fair.
like, if you ask Vanderbilt and Iowa fans, hey, do you want a chance at the 2014 playoff? And Iowa fans say, we can make the playoff? We don't have to beat Ohio State and Oregon and Indiana to make the playoff. We can have like a good team, go 9-3, be the 22 seed, and play a playoff game? That sounds awesome to me. And I just think we all have to remember, not everything's from the standpoint of Bama and Ohio State.
Agreed. And that's a very good point out of you. I continue to do this show here, so I'm looking at everything through scarlet and gray colored glasses, but it's a fair point. And the more I thought about it, he's right in the way that he laid that out. But I think I'm right too. You know why? Because I don't care about Iowa, and I don't care about Vanderbilt, and I don't care about middling programs with 3 and 4 losses playing in a tournament that should crown the best team in the country. And I don't need to see more bad football. I don't. I want to see the best teams play each other at the end for something really important. And I don't care if Iowa can say, well, we're a playoff team. And I do not care if Ole Miss or Mississippi State or Baylor or any of those programs get to compete for, quote, a championship. I don't care. I think the standard in this sport should be higher. I would like it to be contracted, not expanded. I don't even like 12. I wish it were 8, and I think 4 was fine. I think 8 is the perfect number. In some instances, there's probably only 4 or 5 teams that are at that level. And with NIL and free transfer, that will just expand in terms of, and there will be ebbs and flows of it. Look at Texas Tech, look at Indiana, look at Miami. All of these programs that got this influx of cash that flipped quickly to a very, very high level. What I want, and the team that we talk about the most, is the team in this town, and I don't want more bad ball. And I don't need to see these teams play. So I get where he's coming from. I get it. I understand it. I just don't care about it.
We talk about conversations had in May of 2025 compared to conversations had in May of 2026, and they're pretty wild. This one, too, because we were all over Tony Petitti last year, or whenever it was he lightly floated the idea of a 24-30 team playoff. And now here we are, and it's not in stone yet, but they're getting ready to carve the thing. And to the idea that, to the point Doug made on Friday, which of all of his points he made is a good one, because most of the country is in that basket. There's Ohio State, there's Alabama, there's Georgia, there's Texas, and then there's everybody else. And what Tony Petitti's job is, what Greg Sankey's, what most of his job is to cater to the rest. Because, and for Tony Petitti in Ohio State, or for Tony Petitti in the Big Ten, I should say, Ohio State has done the job since ever of being a really good partner with this. So Tony Petitti doesn't have to worry about Ohio State. It's everybody else, because he knows Ohio State is going to do Ohio State.
So I went back and listened to the whole interview with Doug.
Yeah.
This morning, because I knew we were going to do this. And Doug is a very smart man.
Yeah.
He knows what he's talking about. And he, as you said, fair points. We are looking at this through an Ohio State and Alabama lens because we are talking about a champion. And who is the best? That's why we're looking at it through that lens. At least I am, not because I live in Columbus, Ohio, and I want the Buckeyes to win. But if the Buckeyes aren't one of the best, I don't want them playing for it. And I've said this multiple times, and a lot of Buckeye fans get mad at me. I think Ohio State was the best team in 2024 when they won the national championship. But they did not deserve to play for one the way they played that year in the regular season with 2 losses. Now, the tournament expanded to 12, and they got in, and they won it, and the rest is history. But we are trying to find the best team here. And looking at it through an Iowa or Vanderbilt lens right now is not the best. Would it be awesome for them to get into a playoff? Yay, yeah, woohoo, rah, rah, but they ain't winning. If you want to win one, get better. And then you can start looking through an Ohio State Vanderbilt or an Ohio State Iowa.
Well, we'd had the conversation, Baker, before the show. Like, the last time Iowa was nationally relevant in that sense was when you had America Online CDs. Right?
What is it, like 2001? They went to the Orange Bowl and were 11-1 with Brad Banks.
I mean, the other times have been because they've had major upsets. And the other times, similarly with Vanderbilt, is, whoa, what are they doing being good all of a sudden? And it's a blip. And then it goes away.
The point I made to Doug, and I don't know, you'd have to ask folks there. The point that I'm curious about is it better to play, like, and the way he phrased it was, okay, Iowa hosting a game, a playoff game. Iowa hosting Vanderbilt's going to be the biggest game in the history of Iowa. You'd have to ask somebody from Iowa that. I don't know if it would be or not. If you win that game only to get bombed by Ohio State in the next round, is that somehow better than getting a week in a warm climate to go to a bowl game and celebrate all that comes with that? I don't know. You'd have to ask those folks that. And quite frankly, I don't care about that. I don't care about seeing that. I don't care about seeing more bad football. And the thing that I think that was always really cool about college football was the quirkiness of it. I think it was cool that Iowa plays for about 1,000 trophy games, and that those games still matter. Like, I mean, Chops used to do the show with us, and how much he cared about beating Nebraska. Like, loved the opportunity to beat Nebraska, to beat Minnesota for Floyd, like all of that stuff. Does that stuff start to go away if all of a sudden you got 24 teams in a playoff? And what are we moving all of this for? We're not doing this to give more teams a chance to win a national championship, who quite frankly don't deserve it. The teams are not worthy to play at that level. That's not what we're doing. What we're doing this for is inventory. It's to play more games that they can sell to television partners to continue to, if you use the drug addict analogy, to continue to get higher and higher and higher without ever going to rehab. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to find money. That's what this is about. This is not about giving more teams a chance. In an altruistic way, perhaps, but we're a long way from that in college athletics. This is about how do we make more money? And the way to make more money is to create more games. It's kind of simple. with what's happening here. So from that standpoint, I hope, and you're right, Reese, a year ago at this time, there wasn't anybody who thought a 2014 playoff was real. Nobody thought it was real. And now all of these coaches starting to come around. All of these coaches. Why? Makes their job better. Makes it easier. We're a playoff team. Think about around here.
Think about Dabo all the time. I do.
Oh, my God. Reese, think about like Chris Holtman, Jake Diebler, Thad Matta. How many times do we say, I got to make the tournament? How many times have we said that? Got to be a tournament team. Okay, well, now you're going to have 76 teams. You're going to be a tournament team. You go 19-13 and be 8-12 in the Big Ten, and you're going to make the tournament.
You know what, though? I don't know. I've thought about this more. I don't know if it does make their jobs better. Because here's
in the beginning.
Here's my example.
Go ahead.
What if Kirk Ferentz, and if this has been a 2014 playoff all along, what if Kirk Ferentz didn't make it 4 years in a row? Would they be like, we've got to get to the playoff at least? And
it's a great point.
If it's an Ohio State or an Alabama or a Michigan, if you lose in the first round a couple years in a row, you're out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some of these guys, like if a Vanderbilt gets in, they're going to be okay for a while, but then if you don't make it for 4 years, you're out of here.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it is going to be better for their job because all of the when they didn't have expectations before, they're all going to have it now.
I do wonder what, to your Vanderbilt point, if a guy at Vanderbilt makes the college football playoff, is he even at Vanderbilt the next season?
Oh, I think he will be with that example because they now have big money.
Clark Lee just re-upped.
Because coaches won't move around as much.
Yeah,
but
I think that just specific example, they just have a lot of cash now, and they got a taste of it. Vanderbilt athletics is going nowhere.
Like Michigan State's going to think they should be in a 2014 playoff.
All right, to your point on that, yes, eventually you'll get to a point with why haven't you made the playoff in this? Eventually the goalposts will change, and making the playoff won't mean anything. But guess what that has in common with everything else that is happening in college sports? There is no foresight on any of that. And their attitude on everything is, we'll fix that down the road. This buys me 2 or 3 years, so give me the 2 or 3 years, and I'll make it work. And then we'll deal with that problem when it comes. And then we're going to wake up, and that problem that you just laid out, Bake, is going to be here. That's where we're at in all of this. And it is going to change the way teams go about their scheduling. Another example of that coming up. And what exactly can Penn State do with Matt Campbell? Can they become a worthy adversary for the Buckeyes? Jake Trotter is going to join us at 10:30. Wrote an interesting piece on Campbell and what he's trying to do at Penn State. We'll get to all of that coming up. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. I just freaked the hell out of someone. The Fan.
As the saying goes, trust is earned, never given. When it comes to your roof, who you trust truly matters. At Newman Roofing, we're more than just a business. We're a local, family-owned company built on honesty, integrity, and hard work. From the very beginning, these core values have shaped the way we do business, ensuring a customer experience that's second to none. Our dedication to quality has earned us the trust of thousands of homeowners across Central Ohio. At Newman Roofing, excellence isn't just a word, it's our promise to you. From the moment we step foot on your doorstep to the final handshake, we strive to deliver an experience that keeps you calling back for more. Whether you need a roof repair or a full replacement, our team at Newman Roofing is here to protect what matters most. After all, when your name is on it, it just means more. So give us a call today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit us online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Are you ready to tackle those home projects? With a home equity loan from CME Federal Credit Union, you get an introductory 3.99% APR for 12 months to make those upgrades happen. From patios to paint jobs, your home's next chapter starts at CME. Visit CMEFCU.org.
Got this. Breathe. You got this. You got this.
In the moments that truly matter, what do? Rise. to the occasion. Ohio Health. It's time.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Bring your landscape back to life with an unbeatable deal from Ohio Mulch. 5 bags of premium mulch for just $10. You choose from absolute black, brown, or red to make your flowers pop and your curb appeal shine. Whether you're refreshing flower beds or finishing up that weekend project, Ohio Mulch, they have everything you need to make it look like a pro did it.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply, cleaner, greener, better.
When it's time to ask life's biggest question, make sure your ring says it all. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Seller, and we've been helping couples say yes for over 78 years. From brilliant cuts to better prices, the quality and selection of our diamonds is unmatched. Because diamonds aren't just our business, they're our legacy. Visit us at Diamond Seller on Salmo Road or Easton Town Center and learn more at diamondseller.com. Bigger diamonds, better prices, guaranteed.
The Fan is headed to the Memorial. Are you ready for 30 hours of live coverage? Oh, it's true, baby.
Sponsored by The Waterworks and Header Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling. TheWaterworks.com.
The best Memorial coverage, The Fan.
Day 1, the hardest day. The day you hear.
This is a type of blood cancer.
At the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, we are here to help you move past day 1. To learn more and get help on any day, visit LLS.org or call 1-800-955-4572.
Hi, I'm Cherie Sample Hughes, Women in Government Board Chair. Alzheimer's disease often starts subtly with a memory slip, lost word, or forgotten appointment. For patients experiencing memory and thinking issues, there are FDA-cleared blood biomarker tests that can help detect the buildup of proteins in the brain that can lead to the symptoms of Alzheimer's disease. That's why early detection and diagnosis are so important. Sharing details about your memory and thinking issues with your doctor can help determine if testing is right for you. Find more at womeningovernment.org.
Feeling stressed or overwhelmed? Not sure how to get the mental health help you need? We've got your back. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442. We'll help you figure out what mental health benefits may be in your health plan. No more confusion, just the support you deserve. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We'll see clouds increase as we head into the day today, but lots of sunshine to start with, temperatures in the upper 60s. For tonight, partly cloudy, our overnight lows getting into the upper 30s again and low 40s. Then for Tuesday, we will see a partly sunny to mostly sunny day with more clouds the second half of the day and highs getting up into the low 70s. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
Matty Ice is currently bathing himself in creamy jalapeno dip. And I've officially run out of ways to tease this show. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan. The friends are the guests and listeners. Reeser and Baker just work here.
Back to work. Back to work. Everybody. Work, 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 work.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Indeed you are, and we are proudly and always sponsored by our great friends at Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for nearly 8 decades. One of the casualties, and to this point we have not seen Ohio State and Alabama, they both affirmed that they're going to continue to play that game in 2027 and 28. That game is still on the schedule as it stands. Beyond that, however, there is all sorts of movement around the sport in terms of teams canceling home and home series. And one that happened over the weekend was Florida State and Georgia canceling a home and home series coming up. I saw a statement from the Florida State athletic director, Michael Alford, saying that they may do a neutral site one-off game there. And the reason that one of the things that he noted, and my guess is they would just split the gate on that, is the way that you do that. They'd probably play it at Mercedes-Benz, I'm guessing, is that they would play it there. And one of the reasons that was kind of decided, if you read between the lines, is neither one of them want to give up a home game. They don't. So they need them to make all the money work, and so they don't want to give up the home games, and you have to do that when you go to Sanford Stadium, or if you went to Doak Campbell, or for us, if you go down to Bryant-Denny or go to the Shoe. So that game is, and we've seen this, right? We've seen a lot of this. A lot of the SEC teams, now that they're going to now that they're in the 9-game schedule world, they are getting rid of some of these out-of-conference games. To this point, as I mentioned, Bama, Ohio State still on. Both affirmed that there's no plans to cancel it. We'll see where all of that shakes out. Jake Troder is going to join us in 10 minutes. He wrote an in-depth piece last week on Matt Campbell and Penn State. It sounds, if you're a Penn State fan, that everything that you would think Penn State could be, Matt Campbell's doing the right things to get to that point. And I'll acknowledge this. It's possible that I have, and I've said this over the years, that I have an inflated view of what Penn State can be versus what it can actually be. To me, I see no reason why Penn State can't be not on the Ohio State level. Not that. But I see no reason Penn State can't be, honestly, what Notre Dame has been and continues to be under Marcus Freeman with the right coach, that they can't recruit in the top 5, make the playoff a lot, get to a national championship game. They got close a couple of years ago with Drew Allen, those guys. They got to a semifinal. They had an incredible draw in that college football playoff, an incredible draw. And this will go away with the group of 6 stuff, right? Because you won't be playing the games that they got to play. Didn't they play Boise State?
They did.
They played SMU at home in one of the coldest days ever, and then they got Boise State to get to Notre Dame in the semifinals. So that was a pretty solid path for them to be able to get there. What do you think Penn State should be?
They should be Ohio State in blue and
You
white.
think they can be all the way there?
I think so. I think with the right coach, you've got a fan base, you've got the same donor base position. Like, who's Penn State's billionaire? It is an outpost to get to, but everything else over my entire life has told me that they think that the fan base at least thinks they're on the level of Ohio State, and they've, it's been a minute since they've won a national championship, but they have acted the part outside of the goofy unrivaled thing. Mm-hmm. But they're sending guys to the NFL. They're competing. They're making the college football playoff. They're getting upsets every now and again. And I think with the proper coach that can develop players, they can't just get them in and like, well, you're incredibly talented, but you will go no further in your development once they have hit Happy Valley, which was the issue under James Franklin, really. If they can turn that around, then that's a national power. I think they're just waiting for the right guy to lead them. Because Franklin was there for so long, it just became like, what is this thing?
I think on the Franklin piece, I think that they were in such despair after Sandusky and after Bill left. Bill stabilized it, and then he left. And I think they were so worried that if they jettisoned him, that they would end up like Nebraska. I think that was in their head. And so I think they got used to average. They just got very used to it.
So this isn't the 80s and the 90s anymore. And I don't think Penn State can be on the level of Ohio State. I actually think James Franklin had Penn State at their ceiling right now. I think 9-3 every year, a 12-team college football playoff, getting in there. Now, things went off the rails for them after that Oregon loss this past year. I think Penn State is going to regret getting rid of James Franklin because I don't think Matt Campbell's it. I think Matt Campbell's a step down, quite frankly. I think you're going to be 7-5 a lot with Matt Campbell. You're going to have the 10-2 and the 9-3 a couple times, but I think they're going to take a step back with Campbell, and I think Penn State fans are going to be upset like no other when James Franklin wins the ACC and has Virginia Tech in the 12-team playoff.
I can't get there with you, Bake. I can't get there. But I do think you make some solid points in terms of here's the thing that's tricky about that job. I really don't know what they're capable of because it has been so long since. Do you know the last time? There's been twice in the last 30 years, 3 times that Penn State has been in the preseason ranked in the top 3. A total of 3 times in the last 30 years that they started the season in the top 3 of the country. 1997, that year they finished 16th. They went 9-3. 1999, they started 3rd in the country, finished 10-3, 11th. And then last year, they started the year 2nd in the country We forget that, right? Because all the wheels came off so quickly for them. Franklin gets fired. Last year was supposed to be their year. His best seasons over there. I mean, the highest they ever finished a season, obviously, was 2024 when they finished ranked 4th in the country. Previous to that is 2016. They finished ranked 5th in the country. Like, they just haven't been there for so long. It is such a unique job. I think Matt Campbell is better than James Franklin. I think he'll be better than James Franklin. I think, and we can not see eye to eye on that. That's fine. It's neither. We'll find out if he can be or not. The thing I don't know about what I don't know about Matt Campbell is, can he recruit at a level that would get them to the point where they are a rung below Ohio State and Michigan in the league and a rung below Oregon in the league? He's never had to. You don't have to recruit at Iowa State like that. That's not the standard. Franklin recruited. He had some massive recruiting classes in there, and probably the biggest what if in the Big Ten in the last decade or so is what if Justin Fields just stayed at Penn State and didn't go to Georgia. They had him committed. He was there, and then Georgia swooped in and stole him, and then they had to watch him beat him when he was playing here. Can Campbell recruit it? That's the part that we don't know. They should have the finances. They got a lot of wealthy boosters at Penn State. There's a lot of money in that state that they can throw at it. So they've got the booster part. It's a unique sell in that it is really remote. It's a tough place to get to. That is for sure.
Something
That's real.
Franklin always lamented about the size of the airport and the runway.
Yeah, it's hard. You guys have been there, right?
It's an outpost.
It's an outpost of outposts. I mean, it reminds me very much of like Clemson. Honestly, like really small town in the mountains. Clemson's not in the mountains, but you get the point. Like rural, and fly into an airport that's an hour away and try and drive. That's the setup that they're in. So can you overcome those things? Can you make it cool? I don't know. And what will Campbell's approach be? Will he try to recruit with Ohio State? We didn't get a look at it because he was hired in the middle of all of this stuff, and the way that the calendar is so broken, he wasn't even able to do it. But like, can he recruit and beat Ohio State head-to-head on kids from Pennsylvania and the D.C. area and the Virginia area? Can he do that? Or is he going to try to be a portal guy? Those are things that we don't know. I'm kind of split the difference on you two. I don't think they can be quite as good as you think, Reese, and I don't think that they'll be as bad as you think, Bake. Jake Trotter was over there. We'll ask him what he thinks about it in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
From military life to a rewarding career in IT, kickstart your new journey in a matter of months in the fields of IT and cybersecurity, including AI. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including VA benefits.
Two guys drove to work. Neither guy wore a seatbelt. One guy got a ticket. One guy didn't. The same two guys drove home. One guy wore a seatbelt. One guy didn't. One guy made it home. The guy not wearing his seatbelt didn't. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
Delaware County Veterans Services is ready to help you access VA benefits, emergency financial assistance, dental and medical grants, transportation, and more. Give Delaware County Veterans Services a call, 740-833-2010 to schedule an appointment.
Parents, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Go for it.
We're listening.
Yeah. Are your teens good with money?
She's a good kid,
she's the
but
best,
yeah.
I get it. Switch to Huntington Bank, and your teen debit card can really help.
Oh?
You can set spending limits, and your kid can track budgets, so they learn that money doesn't, in fact, grow on trees.
I think we need this.
Sounds good, yeah. We feel you, parents. Let's get more from teen banking. Let's get more from money. Switch to Huntington Bank. Welcome. Eligibility requirements apply. Some features may require enrollment.
Sun, splashes, and nonstop fun await at Zoombezi Bay.
Get your season pass for unlimited thrills,
including our all-new conservation tower. Buy now at ZoombeziBay.com.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Let me introduce you to a man with a magnificent salt and pepper beard. A man who's currently roasting lamb on a spit. A man who runs the Rocky River Greek Festival. That man is Jake Trotter.
And no, it's not Wednesday. It's Monday, a couple days early for our buddy, Mr. Trotter. He joins on the Brian Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. We were talking right before you came on, read your piece on Matt Campbell at Penn State. We all kind of had a view about what we think Penn State can be at its best. You were over there. You talked to Matt. I'll pose that question to you. What do you think Penn State football can be at its best?
I mean, they can win a national championship, right? 2 years ago, they were a interception field goal away from beating Notre Dame and playing Ohio State for the national championship. So I think that Penn State has shown that they can get to that level. And really, it's going to come down to, can they eradicate this streak and inability to beat top 10 teams? You know, it was 4-21 under James Franklin. Was it 1-18 against top 10 Big Ten opponents? They lost 15 in a row at one point before Franklin was fired to AP top 10. So really, that's what it comes down to. But even with all the problems Penn State had, they were a game away from playing for the national championship 1 year ago.
Yeah. How James's approach, I mean, I think one of the biggest what ifs in the Big Ten in the last decade or so was if he had somehow been able to keep Justin Fields. That was his coup de grace, was that class. Justin would have lined up with a lot of talent that was already on that roster, and he would have been kind of that guy. They weren't able to do it. He ended up at Georgia, and then the bitter pill for them is obviously he ends up here, and the rest is history. Franklin's shortcomings
was he committed to Penn State?
Yes.
Okay, and then Georgia. Okay, I can't remember what happened there.
He was first committed to Penn State, and then went to Georgia, and then sat behind Jake Fromm, and then Fromm came back, and then he ended up here. But Franklin tried to recruit against Ohio State, and
correct,
most times failed. How will Matt Campbell build this program?
Yeah, that was one thing that I heard while I was there was, listen, Penn State was, and succeeding in a lot of cases, but was trying to recruit the best players in the country. They were trying to get all the 5 stars. And for some programs, that works pretty well. I think Ohio State, case in point. And I think part of what works for Ohio State is they can almost be selective with the 5 stars they get. And you go in their building and you talk to Sonny Styles and you talk to Cardinal Tate and Caleb Downs and Jeremiah, and it feels like you're talking to guys that have been in the NFL 10 years. Like you would just be blown away by, how mature and professional that group is, compared to other football programs in the country. Fair, right?
Yes.
So I don't know that you're able to do that at other places like Penn State. You just have to get the best players you can get. And I think that if you believe the new regime, that they lost a little bit of something with that. Like the culture and the hard-nosed mentality, the blue-collar mentality, they lost a little bit of what had made Penn State at its best when it was really rolling. And so I think the recruiting philosophy is going to change, and I think there's going to be a little bit of an Iowa State mentality there where, okay, we're recruiting a higher level of athlete than we did at Iowa State, but we're also going to look for the type of guys that fit our program. And as I mentioned in the piece, one of the draws for Matt Campbell to Penn State was, he saw a lot of similarities between Ames and State College and felt like I can continue to do what I have done at Iowa State at Penn State and get those players that I've had a lot of success with. So there's no doubt they're going to, Matt Campbell's going to have more talent than he had to work with at Iowa State. But I also don't think that they're going to just try to continue to recruit against Ohio State. I think that's going to change.
Yeah, I think it has to. It really has to do so. I was just curious about this. So Campbell actually ended up 3-6 against Iowa when he was at Iowa State, but that was
early on in his tenure. That definitely flipped later on, like where
we won the last couple.
They started to gain a stranglehold in that series.
Yeah, and so if I understand like how he would think of it that way, but if I were a Penn State fan and I was thinking about trying to, kind of hang out in the Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon world of the Big Ten, I would be a little concerned about that and maybe that goes back to just how the fans view the program. Like, what do fans think that Penn State can be? Because one thing I've said on here a lot, Jake, over the years is I think Penn State should be a better program than Penn State thinks it should be.
Well, one thing that helps Penn State this year is they have like the opposite schedule of Ohio State. Like they have a very, very favorable schedule. I don't have it in front of me, but they dodge a lot of the big boys, including Ohio State this year, which I think will help because it's all about momentum. And if you can go 9-3, is that unreasonable with their schedule? You go
Jake,
9-3.
I'm going to give it to you, buddy. It's that they should breeze to 9-3. It's Marshall, Temple, Buffalo, Wisconsin, Northwestern. USC will be tough, but that'll be at home. At Michigan, of course, that'll be difficult with Whittingham. But then it's Purdue, Washington, Minnesota, Rutgers, Maryland. If he doesn't go 10-2, I think he's going to go 10-2. I actually think he's going to start out great. But then what does he do? What can he do with that momentum? To me, that's what's going to be most interesting.
Yeah, and that USC game is huge because that is like, I want to say that's like week 7-ish.
Middle of the season, yeah.
Yeah. So, and you win that game, and like you pointed out, you could be 6-0, 7-0, whatever it ends up being. All of a sudden, you're 9th in the country, and your players are starting to believe again. And I think USC is going to be highly ranked when they go there. So, like that could be the top 10 win that you've been looking for, and all of a sudden, look, Penn State can win top 10 games again, and you kind of eliminate that narrative. What you don't want is that narrative to carry over, and it just becomes a all-encompassing program issue. Like, well, it doesn't matter who the coach is; they can't beat top 10 teams. And listen, Matt Campbell's top 10 record at Iowa State wasn't like phenomenal. It wasn't like they were perennial giant killers, but they did beat Texas more than once. I mentioned in the story, they beat Oklahoma. I was at that game. Iowa State, we didn't know who their quarterback was going to be until kickoff, basically, because they were down to like their 4th string guy. They'd moved Joel Lanning to linebacker. Their starter was out. I think there was like another injury, and this kid named Kyle Kempt, was unbelievable. And they beat Oklahoma 38-31 in Norman. And Iowa State had not beaten Oklahoma they beat them one time since 1961. So it was like just a monumental upset. I think in the next 2 years they beat Texas back to back. So like they have shown that they can do things that Iowa State had not been able to do before. And again, the question is, does that translate to Ohio State and Oregon and Michigan and USC, et cetera? But I do think that the one thing they're doing that's different, I got the sense that with James Franklin and this top 10 issue, it was kind of like, we don't want to talk about it. Like it's uncomfortable. We kind of don't really want to get into it. Even this past season when like they couldn't really avoid it coming off the Notre Dame game, it's just not something that I thought was embraced. And it's the opposite right now where like they bring it up all the time. Like Matt Campbell will write on the chalkboard, like or the whiteboard, this is our record against top 10 teams. This is who we've lost to. Like, this is what we've got to change. So I think acknowledging the issue, is probably step one to fixing it.
Well, and that kid's name was Kyle Kempt, right?
Kyle Kempt.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
He's a Massillon kid, I think.
Is that right? Well, that's where Campbell is from. So yeah.
No. I want to make sure I have this right. I have
no idea where he's from.
Massillon. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, when you said that name, I remember from recruiting. I hadn't thought about the kid obviously in forever, but yeah, he's an Ohio kid, and that was the next thing I'm curious about. Is he's from Massillon? He's a Mount Union guy. Like will he try to come in here?
I mean, there's a bunch of guys in that program now that are from Ohio. Not the practice I was at, but the practice before when I was there, apparently there was like just a ton of Northeast Ohio people. He has a ton of connections to, the Cleveland, Canton, Massillon Canton, McKinley, Massillon area, Akron, et cetera. His wife is from that area as well. So, yeah, I mean, the kids that Ohio State doesn't get from, Cleveland all the way down to, Canton, McKinley, Massillon, I think there's a pretty good chance they're going to be going to Penn State. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if they open up a little bit of a pipeline to some of those programs, given his ties there. And not just his ties, but, a lot of guys on his coaching staff as well.
It's going to be a fascinating one. Did you feel like going out of there? The piece is great. Read it. It's up on ESPN. I just think it's fascinating program building stuff. And I'll get you out of here on this one. Did you feel like he fit there when you left?
Yeah, 100%. And the guy who really convinced me is the guy that it's kind of he's a Penn Stater, but he's also kind of the outsider because he didn't know Matt Campbell before, and that was Danton Lynn, who was the Danton Lynn, who was the defensive coordinator at USC. Before that was at UCLA. Really did a great job improving those programs defensively when they were just kind of lost at sea until he arrived. He played at Penn State a few years ago, and I was told that James Franklin twice tried to hire him before he went and got Jim Knowles, and then before he hired Tom Allen. Mm-hmm. And, Lynn, for whatever reason, didn't feel like it was the right move. And Matt Campbell reaches out, and he was like, Lynn was like their number one target by far. And Lynn said the more I talked to Matt Campbell, the more it reminded me of like the traditional Penn State and like why I wanted to go to Penn State, and just became convinced that he was a perfect fit for Penn State and he wanted to be a part of it as a Penn Stater. So Lynn is the guy that really, I thought, made the case for why Matt Campbell and, his personality and vision for the program is going to be a perfect fit. And I think that was a big reason why, he decided to leave USC for Penn State, which that was a little bit of a surprising hire. I didn't think they were going to be able to get him out of USC with the talent that USC is bringing in, and yet they were able to do that. And, obviously it was a terrific DC hire for Matt Campbell.
Great stuff, pal. It's a really cool story. Love the program building and how people go about it. Thanks for your time today, as always, bud.
All right, Bo. Have a great week. See you.
You too. That is Jake Troder, senior college football reporter at ESPN on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. We'll do Thing or Not a Thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on the Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And while we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious, with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best.
Hey, everybody, it's Berm here. Jeremy Birmingham from the Austin and Berm Show on 97.1 The Fan. Last year, I heard Austin's 40 by the 4th message, just like everybody else. And I remember thinking to myself, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then I did what a lot of people do. Nothing. And that's why I like Reclaim by Awaken 180 so much now, because it's really about finally taking the advice of people who've actually done it and gotten real results. This is not people guessing. This is not people talking. People who've been there, who I finally listened to. And I dropped 35 pounds in just 7 weeks with Awaken 180. Then I lost 5 more in free maintenance mode. That's why this hits different for me now. Reclaim by Awaken 180 gives you a clear plan, a defined window, and a real finish line. And if you want a powerful goal inside that window, 40 by the 4th is right there. It's not eventually. It's not one of these days. It's right now. So maybe this year, you do what I should have done last year. Go to awaken180weightloss.com. 844-346-1800. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Put more money back in your pocket this spring with special rates as low as 8.99% APR on debt consolidation loans from BMI FCU. Transfer your high-interest credit cards today. Apply at bmifcu.org/consolidate.
Call the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
My AC stopped working. Your competition says it's fried. When I saw their cost to replace it, I could have just died.
We can give a second opinion, give you options and advice. We'll strive to earn your trust and make you a client for life. Get a free second opinion, replace or repair. Call 614-683-9911. Call the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
Last year, we had 295 trials where we'd been offered a total of $90 million on all those cases. When the dust settled, we had recovered over $1.1 billion in verdicts and mid-trial settlements. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. We won a lot, $30 billion and counting. The best part of all those wins is that it helps you when you hire us. All those wins allow us to let the insurance company know we mean business. And believe me, they know who we are. If you've been injured, Google Morgan & Morgan results. You're not bragging if it's a fact. 3 million people tried to hire us last year alone. That happened for a reason. Visit forthepeople.com and let's get started this minute. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
If only there was a radio show that constantly talked about Ohio State athletics. Well, good news. It's real, baby. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
Proud to be your flagship home of the Buckeyes. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
How do you make a UDF ice cream quake? Easy. Pick any flavor of UDF ice cream, add your favorite mix-ins, and you've got a quake. Now, how do you pick your flavors and mix-ins? That's the hard part. Ice cream quakes, only at United Dairy Farmers.
Guess which store is celebrating their 50th anniversary, and you'll get up to $180 off sets of Goodyear tires.
Oh, is it the one with the annoying jingle?
Coffee, sandwich, hash browns. Tired of the same breakfast routine? Time to refresh your morning ritual with a $6 Tim's Trio from Tim Hortons. It starts with a premium blend of freshly brewed coffee, a hot, savory breakfast sandwich made with freshly cracked eggs, and for a tasty twist, a daily baked donut to sweeten the deal. Ask for the $6 Tim's Trio. Your morning ritual refreshed. Only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, must ask for offer. Medium coffee only. Terms apply.
Thousands of students every year choose Columbus State Community College, earning degrees that open doors to in-demand jobs, stable careers, and real earning power. Columbus State is making Central Ohio stronger. Apply today at cscc.edu.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Federal Elite Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Reese's mustache is so nice, it has its own area code. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing on a Monday. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
It's very understandable if you've kept your nose and ears and eyes out of world news over the last month. But tech billionaire Elon Musk is suing tech billionaire Sam Altman and his company OpenAI for deceiving and swindling him by founding OpenAI as a nonprofit in 2015, then converting it to a for-profit without him. Musk alleges that soon after he invested millions, Altman and the company did a 180 and made OpenAI into an extremely valuable startup. According to exhibits from that litigation, the University of Michigan invested $20 million into one of OpenAI's earliest fundraising rounds. The documents don't fully explain the terms, but Michigan reportedly set a target redemption amount of $2 billion. Thing or not a thing?
Well, massive if true. I mean, that is a staggering figure. So that is their target, but I guess we'd have to know. I guess what I'd be curious about is, all right, when did they invest the 20? And what were those shares worth at the time they invest, or what was that worth at the time they invested? What shares did they get for it when it went public? And then what are they, like, I wonder what the actual number is, because this says Reese, right? And I'm not just so I'm understanding. Target redemption amount, like that's where they're trying to get to. They think they're going to get $2 billion out of a $20 million investment.
That is, yes.
That's not necessarily where they are now.
That's what they aim to earn back.
Yeah, good Lord. I mean, it'd be a game changer for them. You know, that's just crazy, like, to think that there's that type of money. And it makes you sick when you think about people crying poor with sports when you have stuff like this going on.
It's a massive thing for Michigan if they get the $2 billion, right? I mean, turning $20 million into $2 billion, that seems like a pretty good investment to me. I know I probably shouldn't feel this way, especially when we work for a company that pushes using AI as much as possible, but as soon as I hear the words AI, I tune out. Like, I have no use for it. I don't want it. I don't, and I guess I have used it a little bit, but it seems like the few times I've used it, like, things are messed up in it, and you got to go back and fix it anyway. Like, you got to proofread the work it does and whatnot. So, like, anytime, and yeah, don't, like, I love that another billionaire screwed a billionaire. Like, billionaires are screwing us all the time. It's nice when they get it a little bit. So
this will all end up with a settlement.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
And a guy who's worth $800 billion is going to end up just fine.
So this is before 2019. I'm reading from Business Insider. Michigan put in the $20 million in the earliest investing cluster. Microsoft then put in $1 billion in 2019. So that's where Michigan's sitting there going, oh, okay. 20 million's pretty light comparatively.
Good move out of the Wolverines.
Yeah, very.
Former Notre Dame women's basketball coach Muffet McGraw is not a fan of the NCAA's proposed 5-to-play-5 rule. She posted a lengthy statement to social media. Given college athletes 5 years of eligibility will only exacerbate issues with the transfer portal and NIL. If it passes, kids could be playing for 4 or 5 different schools. Graduation rates dropping are already a concern, and if they graduate, they will use the 5th year to collect a paycheck and sign up for classes they will never attend. She continues, college athletics is broken, and giving athletes 5 years of eligibility is not going to fix it. Thing or not a thing?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of what she says is right, but she's also taking it from the perspective of this is a real get off my lawn take. I'm sure what Muffet McGraw wants was to go back to the old days where coaches made all the money and players got free education, and that's all that you got, and that's it. And there's a lot of folks out there that would want that, but the times have changed. And what they're trying to do with the 5-for-5 is prevent 7-year college athletes. That's what they're trying to do. And so there's some give and take with that. And the give is you have 5 years to play 5. That's the give. She's worried about the academic component of it. There are certainly a lot of student athletes who are in the non-revenue sports concerned about that. But at the top of the sport, there's no concern about that. And so her take on this is so skewed and just so far away from where we've gotten. Even if you agree with it, it's just not the reality anymore.
I think it's interesting that, and we talked about this earlier with Doug in Iowa, and it's all how you look at things. And we look at all of this with college sports through the football lens.
Yeah.
And we don't look at the other sports where this stuff may really have a negative effect, or these sports where these kids aren't getting any money, and this still really is about school. Mm-hmm. Which is why I think we need to separate football and maybe men's and women's basketball away from all of these other sports. The one thing I don't understand about the 5-for-5, Bo, why did we have to add a year of eligibility and give them 5 seasons? Why wasn't it 5 to play 4 like it's always been?
I think it's the old, I think that's the olive branch. I think that's all it is. I just think it's the olive branch. And then I think what the 5-for-5 does, it limits litigation. Because what happened on the 4-for-5 is, well, I need a medical red shirt for this, and then I need a red shirt for this hardship and all of that. This takes that out, and it just says, look, you can have 5, play them how you want. And it gets them out of litigation, is my hunch why they did it.
Wouldn't the 4-for-5 do the same, though? Like, you got 4 years, and once you get to that 4 years or the 5, you're done.
Yeah. Well, the problem is you play, you enroll in the school, you play the 4 years, you play so many games in the 4th year, and then you have an injury, and now you end up in litigation saying, well, I didn't play 4. Now I want to get my 4th year. So I think that's what they're trying to do. I think it's an olive branch.
ESPN and Nexstar announced a deal that'll make ESPN Unlimited the exclusive streaming home of sporting events on the CW. That starts this summer. CW Network owns the rights to an eclectic mix of sporting events, has not previously had a dedicated streaming platform for its sports. The ESPN Unlimited service is the primary home of MLB TV, the digital out-of-market package. Later this year, they're going to get the NFL Network, and they're the exclusive home of WWE's premium live events. ESPN app was already the exclusive home of the NHL out-of-market package, plus thousands of college sporting events. ESPN Plus is also part of that. And there's also a lower tier cost ESPN Select subscription. Did any of that make sense?
Sort of.
Thing or not a thing?
Yeah, I think this is what I'll just say about the and I think I pay for ESPN Plus or Unlimited or whatever like 3 different times. I really think I do. I think I have 3 different subscriptions to this nonsense. I don't even know which card's paying for what. But here's what this is kind of what I will say about ESPN. They're pretty forward thinking with all of this stuff. And in my experience, their app has by far the best interface to find the things that I want. Of all the apps that I go to try to consume sports, ESPN's is the easiest. Like, I like the idea that I can watch Montana State play damn near every game they play. Like, I can do that. And it's easy to find. Click on the college football thing, and boom, here's all the stuff that's live. Beamsy watches college lacrosse nonstop. Easy to do on that app. So, to me, I like that part of it, and I think it's the easiest one for me to operate.
If someone had a device where they could hypothetically get anything, any TV, any sporting event they wanted, you wouldn't have to worry about this at all. But it sure just seems like let's just someone put a sports streaming package together where all of your sports are in one spot. And you can buy that, and that's what they're trying to do. But
that's what ESPN.
They don't have any of the Fox stuff yet.
They don't.
Let's combine everyone.
Didn't they have an agreement with Fox last summer?
They did.
But it never went through.
But it never went through. But like that, they're not far off from that.
I was trying to think about
buy your Disney stock, kids.
CW sporting events, and I think it's Live Golf and ACC football.
Well, Live Golf's with Fox now for whatever is remaining of that. CW has ACC football, and I believe they have some NASCAR as well too, which ESPN hasn't had since the early 90s.
Yeah, didn't they have
the CW and Pac-12 are through 2030 and 2031.
Yeah, so a little bit of that too. We'll blitz the weekend coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We've been your Jackets flagship station since day one. All the goals, all the action, all the memories. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Getting a little older doesn't have to mean, well, getting older. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. And if you're feeling low energy, can't sleep, can't lose weight, are struggling with brain fog, or your sex drive is off, it's time to change it up. At Tri-State Men's Health, our advanced medical strategies featuring TRT, GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, and more treat low T and other hormonal issues to help you shed pounds, have more energy, enhance your body composition, improve sleep, increase your sex drive, and so much more, getting you back in the game again. So don't be older. Be stronger in the gym. Be sharper at work. Be better in the bedroom, and be more confident in every part of your life. So call us today and find out how our advanced treatment strategies could change the game for you. Your first visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on one of our advanced treatment plans on the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
They say great customer service is a thing of the past, but not at Newman Roofing. Quality products, expert installers, and a team you can trust is the core foundation at Newman Roofing. Call 614-NEW-ROOF today to have your roofing, siding, or gutters replaced this spring, or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
Relax and let Kroger Delivery handle your grocery shopping this week. We start with only the freshest items. Then carefully pack your order in our refrigerated trucks. And our cool trucks keep your food fresh right to your door. Fresh groceries your way with Kroger Delivery. And right now, you can save $20 on your first delivery order. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Here's a look at what's going on around the ballpark with your Cincinnati Reds. The Reds are returning home to a busy weekend with fireworks, a special show with mentalist Oz Perlman, Star Wars night, and a Mother's Day celebration at Great American Ballpark. That'll be followed by a 3-game series with the Washington Nationals beginning May 12th. That will be our next Budweiser 3-2-1 Tuesday, and also a family discount day thanks to Klosterman Bakery. Families can save by purchasing up to 3 half-price tickets with the purchase of a full-price ticket. Reds fans and dog owners, join us on Wednesday the 13th for our first Bark in the Park of the season, presented by Purina. Ticket packages are available for dogs and their owners with pet activities, samples, and more in the fan zone. And Thursday will be our next Business Day special and Thirsty Thursday with special ticket packages. For information on those and everything going on at Great American Ballpark all season long, go to Reds.com.
For over 78 years, our family's been part of your love stories. At Diamond Seller, we offer bigger diamonds, better prices, and timeless designs for every chapter of your life. From your first yes to your forever I do, trust the jeweler who knows diamonds best. Visit Diamond Seller today.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Thanks. Is oil marked down?
Save up to $15 when you buy 5 quarts and a filter.
And fuel treatment?
2 for $9 on Lucas.
Brake pads?
Marked down to free.
Free?
Get free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 Duralast rotors.
That's several markdowns.
For many more miles.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Working your way through that home projects list, that means more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with the thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your air conditioner or furnace. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain issues? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing problems? Call the Waterworks. HVAC breakdowns? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks. Trusted and certified plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
Your child's oral health milestones matter. By age 1, see a pediatric dentist to establish good oral health habits. At 7, see an orthodontist to check your child's bite, teeth, and jaws. Around 15, visit an oral and maxillofacial surgeon to have your child's wisdom teeth examined. Remember, milestones met, healthy teeth set. Visit milestonesmet.org.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios, driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The full NFL schedule is coming out this Thursday, but the league's going to slow drip games over the next few days. The first Sunday night football matchup will see the Giants hosting the Cowboys on September 13th. In other news, former Browns tight end David Njoku signed a one-year, $8 million deal with the Chargers. The 29-year-old Njoku had 33 catches for 283 yards and 4 touchdowns in 2025. He missed the last 4 games with a knee injury. In the NBA tonight, the Cavaliers will host the Pistons at 8 o'clock in Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Semis. Detroit leads the best of 7, 2-1. They'll host Game 5 Wednesday. The winner of the series gets the Knicks in the conference finals. In baseball Monday, the Reds have the day off. Cincinnati's going to host Washington on Tuesday. The Guardians look to halt a 2-game slide. Cleveland's going to host the LA Angels tonight at 6:10. This update sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union, voted best credit union for the last 8 years by CBUS Top Picks. Visit bmifcu.org to learn more.
With friends like these, who needs former college football players? This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, final hour here on a Monday. Let's kick it off by blitzing the weekend. Hit it, fellas.
Bishop and Friends present a Weekend Sports Blitz.
Sponsored by Metal Supermarkets. Visit metalsupermarkets.com/Columbus for all your metal needs.
I believe I had that, Bake. What did you have?
I believe I had that the Stanley Cup playoffs are undefeated. And I'm sure it's because if you played this way for 82 games in the regular season, you just wouldn't make it. But the difference between the playoffs in the NHL and the regular season is night and day. The physicality of these games, they're just so intense. So many of them come down to the last minute. I had a blast watching Buffalo, Montreal yesterday, and then that going right into Vegas and Anaheim. Congratulations to Montreal and Anaheim for winning those games. But There's just something different about the Stanley Cup playoffs, and I understand. I am a hockey guy. I think it's the best playoffs in all of sports.
I believe I had the Thunder, the Oklahoma City Thunder, are inevitable. So they will run out the Lakers tonight in Game 4 of their series. Their 17.5 points is the third highest win margin ever in a single NBA playoff run. They also haven't lost in the NBA postseason. Right up with them, 18.2 points, the New York Knicks. So it kind of feels like a collision course between two teams are pretty friggin' inevitable, but I had that the Thunder would be one of those. Didn't have the Knicks.
Yeah, I went. It's funny. I put down OKC too, just from the standpoint of, and neither one of us are reinventing the wheel with this. I think everybody knew like the inevitability of OKC. What's staggering about it? We talked about this last week in regard to kind of the way that this is all happening for the NBA. With apologies to Jake Trotter, they're not going anywhere ever. They're all young. They're in their prime. They got 1 million draft picks. Like they have a chance to be a true dynasty here. And my hunch is the NBA would rather them not be. And there's no stopping them. Not this year. Maybe Wemby, with another good draft from San Antonio, maybe they can get there. But there's no move this summer that's going to get anybody on their level. I did not have that. What did you not have, Beck?
I did not have going into the weekend that I would learn as much about lacrosse as I did this weekend. You had said Friday that you guys would be in Dublin all weekend at the middle school lacrosse state championships, and it just so happened that I could come out and watch your oldest play a little bit. And unfortunately, you had the displeasure of me being right there and asking 1 million questions about the sport. Because lacrosse is just a sport that I have never paid that much attention to and had never been around that much. So I feel like I know a lot more about lacrosse thanks to Uncle Bo.
Well, it was my pleasure. It was great to have you there, and you got to see Bootsy in action. So sucking down, I'm sure, a flavor ice or some sugary something there.
I still can't get the mischievous look that kid has on his face all the time out of my head.
It's a resting look. It never changes.
I didn't have that top to bottom. As we kind of walk towards mid-May, the NL Central would be the deepest division in baseball. From top to bottom, it's the best. Because you've got the Reds sitting there 3 games above 500, but they're 5 games back of the Chicago Cubs. You could say, well, the NL West has the best teams. Yeah, they got the Padres and the Dodgers. They also have the Giants and the Rockies.
I did not have this. I remember when I came on the show the day that Real Madrid signed Kylian Mbappe. And Madrid had such an incredible flex when they tweeted out. It just said, the tweet just said, it said official statement, and then you click the link and it said, we've signed Kylian Mbappe. That's all it said. He is finishing his 2nd season at Real Madrid. And he was one of the best players of the World Cup the last time, probably the best player in the World Cup when France lost to Argentina in the final. One of the best young players on the planet. They lost to Barcelona yesterday 2-0. He will have played his first 2 seasons at Real Madrid, having not won the Copa del Rey, having not won La Liga, and having not even gotten to the Champions League final. Meantime, the team he left, PSG, is trying to win their 2nd Champions League final consecutively this year. They play Arsenal. I did not have that. Sometimes it just is chemistry for whatever reason. Player who impressed, Bake?
For me, it is a former Buckeye, and it is Montreal Canadiens goaltender Jakub Dobesh. And I was going to sit here and recite all of his stats from this year in the playoffs, but I'll just give this answer to a line of questioning that he had in the postgame presser last night.
I'm not a hero. I'm just me. I'm just a goofy goalie who tries to stop pucks. And trust me, I don't call myself a hero. I will go home, eat, watch Game of Thrones, and go to bed. I don't think that's anything heroic.
Same, Jakob, but this is a franchise that has 23 cups, all kinds of great jerseys in the rafters. They've also had Patrick Waugh and Carey Price, and they're asking you about being a hero?
Yeah.
He's changed things for the Montreal Canadiens.
Weight is the crown is heavy for those who choose to wear it. He's got it right now in that place.
Player who impressed for me was a Guardians fan. He's probably an Indians fan too, but the Guardians lost to the Twins Saturday night 2-1 in 11 innings. And for all 11 innings, this one fan at Progressive Field called every member of the Minnesota Twins a bum. He spent the entire game screaming at everybody, and you could hear it over the broadcast. Even more so than you could hear the announcers. And the game was 3 hours and 25 minutes. And he called every single one of them bums.
Jeez.
Might have had some pops, too, to fuel him through that.
I'm going to, number 3 for me, a player who impressed rather. I'm going to go the boys. They despite like Bootsy opening his mom's present because he thinks he's entitled to open everything that comes to the door, despite Beamsy sending his idea for his mom's present directly to her instead of me, they landed the plane with handwritten Mom's Day cards. Those are always undefeated. So they rallied when they needed to on Sunday. Good job out of them. Player who disappointed, Bake?
To me, it was Victor Wembanyama. And not because he stuck up for himself. And I'm also of a basketball time where I think basketball was best when you had the bad boys and you had Rambis and McHale going at it and Barkley and Shaq and all of that. But that was just a blatant, you're going to get kicked out of the game with an elbow like that, thrown like that. And they only ended up, that was in the second quarter, I believe, of that game. They only lost by 5. They could easily, if he didn't do that, be up 3-1 in this series and have total control. But now it's 2 games apiece, and it's looking like it's going 7. And that was just a bad time for Wemby to get thrown out of a game.
Yeah,
I will be disappointed, and I'll make this my disappointed player, if the NBA suspends Victor Wembanyama for Game 5. Like, you got a 2-2 series, and now you've got increased juice to a Spurs-Timberwolves series that you didn't have because it's the San Antonio Spurs and the Minnesota Timberwolves. But with the Victor Wembanyama drama, that if I wanted to add another impressed Mike Tirico on the call of that, and the director of NBC Sports who caught Victor Wembanyama turning to his teammate and be like, what even is a flagrant 2?
Yeah.
It was all of it was awesome cinema.
It really, Mike's incredible. He really is. Player who disappointed, Buddy Garrity. We're doing some renovations in the basement, and probably not smartly. We picked kind of a white gray mosaic carpet. My guy came in. One of the boys let him in from outside. Of course, it's muddy because it always is, and they weren't able to stop him. The carpet got installed, finalized on Friday. By Sunday, mud everywhere. My wife came downstairs, losing it. I'm like, this is in the brochure. Like, he's an 80-pound golden. It's really on the boys more than anything else. So I guess they're good on Mom's Day, but bad with the dog. He came running in and just mud everywhere. I'm like, we got to come up with some sort of plan here. This is just going to be an absolute nightmare. So I don't know if it probably falls on the boys more than him. He's just doing what he is. He's just a dog. What are you going to do? Bud Kilmer, honorary coach of the week, Bake. Who do you got?
For me, it is Bobby Cox. Unfortunately, he passed over the weekend at 84 years of age. Bobby Cox was a fixture in baseball for my formative years with those Braves teams that were so daggone good. It was his second stint with the Braves, actually, as manager. Bobby Cox, 4th all times in wins for a manager in Major League Baseball with 2,504, behind Connie Mack, Tony La Russa, John McGraw. That's it. That's the list. A rough week for the Atlanta Braves organization.
Yeah, those two in a week. Yeah.
Coach of the week for me, Mom. My mom, your mom. Congratulations, moms.
They do a good job.
And good job.
Very good job. I'm going to go Mike Brown because I didn't even realize he was coaching the Knicks until yesterday. You want to talk about stick-to-itness. He's coached like 5 franchises. He coached the Cavs twice, won a ton of titles as an assistant, keeps getting checks, keeps getting jobs, kind of wins most places that he is. And now he's got a team that's in the Eastern Conference Final that's playing as good as anybody in the league. So good job out of him.
And a Columbus guy.
I didn't realize that either, that he was Columbus native. I did not know that either. I got to put my eyes on the Browns rookie class. I will relay what I saw coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
At Great Lakes Hyundai, the savings are so good.
Made
the savings be with you at Great Lakes Hyundai. Right now, lease a new 26 Elantra SE for $59 per month for 2 years. Just $59 a month for the May Mega Sale. This month only. Plus, every new Hyundai comes with owner assurance and America's best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Dublin or Columbus or glakeshyundai.com. With approved credit, $39.95 down plus tax, title, first month payment, 7,500 miles per year, and 6-1.
Common Man here for Universal Windows Direct. There's a lot of window companies out there. If you need window replacement, I want you to go with my guys, the guys that I trust, Universal Windows Direct, because right now when you buy 2 windows, you get 2 free, and there's no limit. The more you upgrade, the more you save. Plus, 24 months with no payments and no interest, and a $500 bonus off your home improvement project. Schedule your free in-home estimate today. Call 614-502-5220, universalwindowsdirect.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
Spring is here, but if you're still feeling exhausted with no sex drive, it may be time to head to Low T Center. You can book a free testosterone test at Low T Center and see if you qualify for TRT customized to you. Head to lowtcenter.com and book your TRT appointment today.
Hey, it's Austin Ward with a unique opportunity for you. The chance to drop 40 pounds by the 4th with Awaken 180. Fast results, sustainable results, medication-free, and free support for life. 40 by the 4th. This is your year. Awaken180weightloss.com.
This is Gordon Miller from Miller Lending, the original home of the no-cost mortgage. Back in 1989, when I first went on the radio to introduce this whole no closing cost concept, where you could actually close on your mortgage without the lender taking $15,000, I had no idea if I had created the next pet rock fad of the day or something that would define my career over the course of the next 37 years. But once mortgage rates fell from 9 down to 6, our business exploded and I never looked back. You see, a no-cost loan is the only consumer-friendly mortgage where the homeowner actually holds all the cards. Short funds to close, eliminate thousands of dollars in closing costs. Rates are now down almost 2% from the peak, but you're holding off due to the cost of a refi? Not anymore. So let's start you down that path of eliminating closing costs once and for all and keep that money where it belongs, with you. 877-9-NO-COST. That's 877-9-NO-COST. Or simply apply online at nocostmortgage.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 250-2146.
Jack Nicklaus's unrivaled vision. World-class competition. Yes! Golf's greats honor. Impactful charitable giving. Loyal fans and volunteers. An iconic history defined by one handshake on the 18th green. June 1st through 7th. Buy your tickets to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Memorial Tournament presented by Workday. Visit memorialtickets.com.
Good news. Jack has personally invited the fan to the Memorial Tournament, and we're broadcasting 30 hours of live content, and we'll try not to embarrass ourselves.
Sponsored by Ohio for Responsible Gambling. Visit pausebeforeyouplay.org.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Call today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000. 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. 614-470-2000. 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you want and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, foreclosures, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Call today and speak with me, John Kozik, for an all-cash offer and the help you need. At 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000, TurboTrackRealty.com.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We'll see clouds increase as we head into the day today, but lots of sunshine to start with temperatures in the upper 60s. For tonight, partly cloudy, our overnight lows getting into the upper 30s again and low 40s. Then for Tuesday, we will see a partly sunny to mostly sunny day with more clouds the second half of the day and highs getting up into the low 70s. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
Just when you thought afternoons couldn't get any dumber.
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you?
Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
Your home for dumb. The Fan. Taking the art of sports radio and day drinking to a whole new level. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Last Friday up in Berea, rookie minicamp for the Browns. They had 53 guys out there. 53 guys. So Todd Monken wanted to play a little football, and so they played some football. Got to see Taylon Green spin it around a little bit. He is physically, this is how I would describe it. 6th-round pick out of Arkansas, obviously. Those are just the facts. Played a lot of football. Played at Boise State. He was on Bruce Feldman's freak list coming out of Boise State. Played on some really bad Arkansas teams the last couple of years. He has some habits in his mechanics that you can see why he would drop to the 6th round, right? Like, he's got a little bit of an elongated release. His foundation isn't great. His footwork's not great all the time. That's why he fell to the 6th round. You can also see why he's about the smartest lottery pick you could ever take. He's a 6th-round pick. He runs as fast as the wind blows. He is dynamic in space. He's got an absolute whip on him. I don't know if it'll all come together, but in terms of being a 6th-round pick, lottery pick, like if it's between him and like Garrett Nussmeier, give me the higher ceiling. And let's see if we can hit the lottery on this thing versus a minimal ceiling, but a more safe pick. They've got safe guys on their roster. Dylan Gabriel's on the roster. They don't need safe. They need to hit a home run, or they would like to hit a home run, and maybe he can do it. I don't know. Todd Monken, I think, really likes him a lot. He had some comments on Taylon. Here is Todd on his 6th-round quarterback.
He operated the offense pretty well. I mean, for someone who hadn't been a part of it, eyes weren't always in the right spot. But you could see a couple of times some of the things he can do with his feet when plays break down. So that's exciting to see.
He was also asked, and I haven't heard Todd's answer to this, but it's way too early to consider anything like this. But he was asked if they'd have special packages for Taylon.
Probably too early to tell that, but I could say that anybody with that kind of athleticism, I think, should he progress in certain areas of his game, I think there would be a possibility of him, whether it's short yardage, once you get in the low red zone, maybe some 3rd down stuff that we could utilize.
There you go. I understand that it makes sense. It's a 6th rounder. Like, swing for the fences with something like this and see if you can develop the kid. Maybe you can. Who knows? In terms of an immediate impact, Denzel Boston looks incredible. He looks incredible. He is an attention getter. He is a big dude with a incredible technique, a willingness to go put his nose into harm's way downfield and blocking, almost an eagerness to do so. Gets separation, high points the ball. He looks like unwrap him and he's T. Higgins to me. That's what he looks like. He looks exactly like how T. Higgins looks for the Bengals. He caught everything that was thrown in the vicinity of him. He got separation almost all the time. He could get deep on anyone. Now, these are not NFL corners. This is not, his first impressions. I'm just saying he was the most wow factor guy up there by far. Spencer Fano looks great. All of the things that you want, but it's hard to tell at tackle, right? Like, I'm not the Charles Bentley.
Yeah, wait till Myles Garrett gets across from him.
Yeah, I can't.
Then evaluate.
There's no way I can tell, what that'll be like. But I can tell when I see somebody running and catching and getting separation, that jumps out. Casey Concepcion, their 1st-round pick, gets separation immediately on man coverage. Now, he did drop one, and he did have a bobble that happened as well. And he was spending a lot of time like on his own, like working on those things. But the separation is stunning. And so you see what they saw in him. They need them both to hit. They probably need both of them to be starters. And Todd actually weighed in on that about putting too much on their plates. Let's have a listen.
I think you're better off at most putting them in 2 spots. If you can keep them in 1 spot, that helps their development. But I don't think you can get away with that. They're going to have to learn at least a couple of spots. But you want them to be able to play fast and be able to function without having to think. And that's been difficult wherever I've been when you've got a rookie. Happened a few years ago at the place I was before. And you've just got to be careful of putting too much on their plate. But I was awfully pleased with them today and how they functioned, got lined up. You can see their skill set. You certainly could today.
Last one I'll say, and then we can have a little discussion about all of this, is Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, to me, looks like he's 6'4". He's taller than Boston. He is a big dude. And he's bigger than Delpit. And him and Delpit are listed the same. He's bigger than Delpit. So he looked great. He was fluid, incredible, all of it. Like, he looked great. Boston looked great. Concepcion looked great on separation and all of that. And he caught most of the things, but he did bobble one. He did drop one. But those are kind of the big takeaways for me, guys.
It's a couple-day rookie minicamp. Yeah. Right. And so what you want to do, for your point about Boston was the phrase that you use all the time, act accordingly. And it feels like he did. It feels like, and reading stuff, over the weekend, reports from rookie minicamp was the safety out of Toledo is going to be great. And he just, obviously all of these guys need time to acclimate. That's what a rookie minicamp's for. That's what training camp's going to be for. I think they've even got one or two more optional training sessions coming up here. But all of these guys they need to be either producing or showing the ability to produce this season. And that's everybody. Fano's probably got to start.
Of course, he has to start left tackle. He's got to.
Concepcion
Boston has to start.
Boston probably have to start. So when Munkin says, I don't want to put these, have them learn one or two things, it's like, you've got to, here's the NFL. Like, I don't know how, and I think time will give them the opportunity, certainly with rookie minicamp, but these guys need to go. And so there really isn't an easing in on this process, because for Boston and Concepcion, I as a Browns fan need to see those two guys help you evaluate your quarterback. And that's got to be a day one thing.
I would just tell you this, watching both of them. So, like, Boston, I'd be shocked if he's not a dude. I would be shocked. I mean, he just drips it. And I really think Concepcion will be too. And you're right. They both need to be. I think what Todd is saying is we're going to have them learn one position at a time at receiver. We're not going to bounce it from X to Z to Y. Like, you're going to figure out X first, and then you'll do this, and then we'll open more things up to you. But with those two, Jerry Jeudy and Isaiah Bond, to your bigger point, Reese, you're going to get a good look at if anybody can play quarterback, because they have legitimate weapons now on the outside to throw to.
Especially when you've got a guy like Jeudy who's very versatile anyway. So if you want to move guys around to different spots, you can move Jeudy around to different spots. He can play on the outside. He can play in the slot. I love hearing that you say that about Denzel Boston. Because he's the receiver I probably would have drafted when they drafted Concepcion, quite frankly. He was the best one on the board, I think. And if you wanted a smaller guy, I probably would have went Omar Cooper at that point. But I liked Boston at Washington. And I love hearing you say that. The Casey Concepcion thing I feel like he's going to be my new player on the Browns that I love to hate now that Njoku's gone. Because he's going to make some plays that you're like, oh my goodness, look at this guy. And he has a nose for the end zone.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a 3rd and 3 when you need an easy completion, and he's going to drop it, and I'm going to throw stuff at my TV.
Yeah, that'll be the challenge for him. He has that will be part of it. You're a first round pick, and that's something that's got to be sorted. I think the best thing that I came away with it on Friday, other than the obvious things that I've mentioned, was if Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders, and it's really between those two. If either of those guys, if you're curious, like, can Deshaun get all the way back? There's at least now a pretty clean experiment to see if he can. He's going to get a fair shake. If you think Shedeur Sanders can be a franchise quarterback for you long-term with this talent, you're going to get a fair shake. There will be weapons out there on the field. Concepcion's a weapon, for sure.
To that point, can then they just make a decision to not bring 4 quarterbacks, or to at least you can have 4 quarterbacks, but I don't think any time should be wasted on a Dylan Gabriel or seeing if Taylon Green can be your guy.
I don't think they'll do that.
Okay.
They will have, in fact, I think that there is a very good chance, a very, very good chance that Todd Monken either names a starter or at least knows a starter. He probably knows it already.
Probably knows it, yeah.
He knows it already. And I would imagine by the time they're done with minicamp, you have a starter. And so then we can get rid of this reps nonsense. We're worried about reps for second-team quarterbacks.
I hate seeing that stuff.
That was just so mismanaged, and it was unnecessary. And so I think that you will see, if it is Deshaun Watson, then he'll get all of it. He'll get all of it. And all these guys got a clean slate with Todd. It's up to them to try to prove things or not. But whoever the quarterback is, I think you'll know it day one of camp, probably before that. And then you'll get that guy ready, because per Mary Kay's right on the reporting on that part of it. Like, you can't be doing that again, and I don't think they will. They'll have all four of them. They very likely will have all four of them. Taylon Green will be the big project if he can click. Gabriel is obviously can be a very solid backup, and that's what he was drafted to be. And Shador's the wild card, and Shador and Deshaun are the wild cards in that. So we'll see where all of that shakes out. All right, coming up next. An anniversary of one of these things that I've had to do in my life that started out so good, it ended so poorly, plus the Cavs in a big game 4 tonight. And could this be LeBron's last game ever for the Lakers, or for anybody for that matter? Bishop and Friends in 2 minutes right here on The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. This is the time of year to enjoy some nice weather. Usually the temperature's pretty good. Those nice spring days where you get outside, you just feel that breeze. It's awesome. But coming soon, it's the hot months of summer, and we know in those months, you're going to want your air conditioning running. You're going to want your windows to keep that cold air inside your house. You don't want to lose money running your air conditioner constantly, all because your builder grade or old windows are just not getting the job done. That's where Window Nation comes in. Window Nation's got their buy 4 windows, get 4 free sale going on now. You can replace all the windows in your home for summer and get half of them for free. Plus, you can get 0 down payment and no payments or interest for 2 years. And, of course, all Window Nation windows come with a lifetime warranty, so you can relax knowing your home is protected far into the future. Don't wait to put an end to your window problems. Schedule your fast free consultation now. WindowNation.com. Buy 4 windows, get 4 free sale going on now. WindowNation.com.
Great Lakes Hyundai. The savings are so good.
May the savings be with you at Great Lakes Hyundai. Right now, lease a new 26 Elantra SE for $59 per month for 2 years. Just $59 a month for the May mega sale. This month only. Plus, every new Hyundai comes with owner assurance and America's best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Dublin or Columbus or glakeshyundai.com. With approved credit, $39.95 down plus tax, title, first month payment, 7,500 miles per year, and 6/1.
What does it mean to live here, serve here in the Ohio Army National Guard?
It means I can attend college full-time and not have to take out student loans to pay for my tuition.
It means I can work my civilian job during the week and support my state and nation in times of need.
You too can live here, serve here as a member of the Ohio Army National Guard. Learn more about part-time service with full-time benefits at nationalguard.com/OH. Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard in coordination with the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Distilled sports discussion served in light beer quantities. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
I suppose if you were looking for a reason to watch the NBA in this region, tonight would be a pretty good reason to do it. First, you're going to have at 8 o'clock, you're going to have the Cavs with an opportunity to even their series with Detroit. They did so on Saturday afternoon. This is on NBC and also on the Peacock, and it's at 8 o'clock. And so that's an easy one. Everybody who wants to watch it can watch it. They got a chance to even that series. That will be followed at 10:30 for Oklahoma City at the Lakers. That's a 10:30 tip in Los Angeles. That game is on Prime Video. There could be history at play in that one. Here's something else, and you guys have this in the prep. I don't know if you picked up on this. Did you see what the get-in price at Staples Center is for tonight in Los Angeles? The Lakers?
I mean, you got $20 in your wallet. You're in.
A playoff game at Staples for $20.
Wow. I didn't even notice that.
That's an attention getter. I think this could be it for him. And I wonder if that number goes up as the day goes along, because there's a lot of rumbling, and who knows? I don't know that the Lakers necessarily. It feels like they may want to go kind of pull the Band-Aid off of this. Now, it's hard because they weren't even able to get like the three of them all healthy playing in the playoffs. But even if they were, they're not beating Oklahoma City.
Now, I'm surprised this is a 10.5-point spread in favor of the Thunder.
Yeah. I mean, no Luka. They're going to get bombed. They can't hang with them at all. It reminded me one of Kobe's last series. I think it may have actually honestly been against OKC then too, when they had. Was that the last playoff series he played? Was against Oklahoma City? I think it may have been. They had Durant and Westbrook at that time, and there was an inevitability to it. I think that's true. And there's that. Go ahead, Vic.
Oh, so I was just going to give you an update on the tickets when you were done there.
Go ahead.
I just looked. It's down to 14.
Okay. So
it's dropping.
Yeah. There is what do you think this is it?
No. Last with Los Angeles? Sure.
But where does he go?
He might go home. I think it's either Los Angeles or Cleveland in terms of teams he plays for next season. And I'm not ready to sell the farm on reunion with the Lakers.
It'd have to be a discount.
It would. I think the discount's also going to be in Cleveland too. Because
It'd have to be. Yeah, Cavs can't.
I think he's smart enough to understand that. And I also wonder if you watch what happens with Giannis, and then Giannis becomes the first domino to fall in this. I don't feel, and I think that the ticket thing that Baker just brought up, I think tells you that NBA fan also does, because Brian Windhurst had it on Sports Center. That, well, he's going to take time after the game, and this could be it. And it's like, well, he'll take time after the game, of course. But this isn't it for him.
So even if this was his last game in Los Angeles, though, I feel like these ticket prices would be higher still. That people would want to go see him one last time. So I think he does. I think he does play another year, and I think it's probably in Los Angeles. Now, the only way that I could see, I guess there's a lot of ways you could see LeBron walking away. But does the NBA this offseason decide to expand, and does LeBron officially become part owner of the new Las Vegas team, and he devotes all of his time to that, helping get that team up and running and all of that? I could see him walking away if he's begun to become an owner of that team.
So, a couple of things. Number one, I don't think Laker fans necessarily like him.
They do not love him.
He's definitely not beloved. I think it's mostly, my feeling on it was he's kind of tolerated. I mean, they like him, they root for him, but he's not beloved. It's not like when he first got to Miami, and definitely not like what it was like in Cleveland. So that, I don't know that even if this was his last, it would be Laker fans like clamoring to go see his last game like they did for Kobe. So that's kind of the way, and I've talked to a lot of folks out there about that's kind of the feeling on it. Then the next thing that jumps out to me is if he strikes, I don't think this is it either, by the way, Reese. I'm with you. I don't think it is. And I do think he could be back in Los Angeles next year at a discount, because I don't think you're going to uproot your life, at this point in your life. I mean, I'm a man, I'm 40, he's 40. Like, I don't want to go changing all of my stuff again to move back. I assume he still has the house in Fairlawn up by Akron. I'm sure he still has that. I'm sure he still owns that house. So I guess he could just move back into that. So that one, I don't know that I see. I also don't know if Dan would want that. Would Dan want to do that for him? Like, they've had such a on again, off again Rocky thing.
If it goes really bad over the next week or so, I think he'd be open to anything. Dan Gilbert, I say.
Fair, but do you think, I don't think that LeBron's that type of difference maker anymore. Like, to me, like, and this isn't even a LeBron thing, this is a Kobe thing. When you do, like, and hell, Kareem did this too, except the Lakers teams were still competing for championships when he played his final year. Like, when you do the retirement tour thing, that's like a distraction into itself. And I think he would want that.
I think Dan might see it from a ticket sales perspective.
Maybe.
And that you do the LeBron retirement tour in Cleveland, and you have his final season, his final NBA game at Rocket Arena. Because this team, the way it's constructed, if they do somehow manage a comeback in the Eastern Conference semifinals. They're running up against that New York Knicks team, and they're not able to match the physicality. Then if by some miracle they get to play OKC in the NBA Finals, like what's that look like? Like what are the Thunder favored by in those finals games? Like you think this is kind of laughable against the Lakers. So I don't know if Dan Gilbert paying $240 million for a roster that's got him would look at a LeBron and say, okay, at least I can get a circus.
Yeah, it would depend on how they see themselves. How many years without looking do you think he's played in L.A.? Or do you know?
Didn't we do this?
Do you remember?
I think it's 8.
I thought it was 8.
It's 8. He was only in Cleveland the first time for 7. And then 4 the second time. So he was in Cleveland for 11. He's been a Laker for 8 years.
Well, I mean, he won a championship in the COVID year, and that's 6 years ago.
Yeah. 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 This might be it. By the way, the old noodle still works on your Uncle Bo. It was Kobe's last playoff series was against Oklahoma City. They got beat 4-1 in the Western Conference Finals in 2012. His final game in that series, he had 42-5-2. But much like this Lakers team, there was an inevitability to that. Like the Lakers had no chance in that series. Now, Kobe went on to play several more years. I think his last season was 2016. So Kobe played 4 seasons where the Lakers weren't contenders for anything. Now he tore his Achilles in there, but he played 3 or 4 years without having any stakes at all. And it really set the Lakers back because they paid him like the superstar that he was, not the player that he had become. So I think the Lakers will be a little bit smarter this time around, and I don't think they're going to break the bank for him because they got to pay Luka and they got to pay Austin Reeves. They're not getting rid of either one of those cats. So that's going to be fascinating. So a very interesting night in the association tonight for both of those reasons, in the early window and then in the late window if you have the stomach for it. Get you 3 things, including a funny anniversary for me coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Wilson, we put new windows in a Dublin home last week. You wouldn't believe how much new light was let in. Changed the entire mood of the home.
You don't need fancy windows to change the mood of a room, Leslie. Know what else will do that? Wilson's Wicks, my new candle line. Here, smell this one.
Oh, that's bad.
I call it warm tuna salad. It's not for everyone.
Get the windows that can completely change the look and feel of your home at PellaColumbus.com.
2 guys drove to work. Neither guy wore a seatbelt. One guy got a ticket. One guy didn't. The same 2 guys drove home. One guy wore a seatbelt. One guy didn't. One guy made it home. The guy not wearing his seatbelt didn't. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
At Planet Fitness, we know how important it is to take care of both your mind and body. That's why now through May 15th, all new members get free massage amenities all month long, so you can reset, recover, and leave feeling stronger than when you came in. Join the club for just $1 down, $15 a month, and get free massage amenities for the month of May. No commitment. Deal ends May 15th. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet. See club for details.
Turn up the heat on your savings and earn up to 3.75% APY until April 2027 with a high-rate money market account during Kemba Financial Credit Union's limited-time Summer Boost Special. This high-earning, no-nonsense account will put your cash to work while you're living your best summer. Offer expires July 31st, 2026. Visit Kemba.org. Restrictions apply. Advantage status and $5,000 minimum balance required to obtain APY. Max $1 million. APY equals annual percentage yield. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hey, y'all.
It's the Rocket Roger Clemens here. Spent a lot of time pitching heat. Years later, the pain in my joints remind me of those days, but I'm not looking to sit still, and I definitely am not interested in going under the knife. That's why I chose QC Kinetics.
Not just for elite retired athletes. QC Kinetics gives everyday folks joint pain relief using regenerative treatments that work with your body to help repair joint damage.
No surgery, no long recovery, whether it's your knees, hips, shoulders, or back. My friends at QC Kinetics will help you get moving again so you can get back to doing the things you love.
QC Kinetics medical professionals will look at your x-rays or MRI to determine if you're a good candidate.
I trusted QC Kinetics to help me feel like myself again, and I'm proud to recommend them to you.
Call QC Kinetics today and schedule your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
How many different ways can you consume morning juice? Let's see. Live on YouTube, live on the Fans HD3, podcast on demand, and on 10 TV Plus. And we'll send Bobby right to your house.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 8.
The Fan.
Last year, I had back pain radiating down my right leg. The pain was so bad I was willing to cut my leg off to stop the pain. I could barely walk and had to stoop over when I did just to take pressure off the spine. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. In my professional career, I've represented thousands of people who've had herniated discs and issues with their neck and back, but never fully appreciated what they were going through until it was my turn. It's like trying to describe colors to a blind person who's never had sight. All I can tell you is it hurt like hell, but worse. My daily walk was gone, and that bothered me a great deal. Then I thought of all of you and how much more devastating this type of injury could be for you. My life stopped. I now feel your pain. Just know at Morgan & Morgan, we got your back. I understand. Morgan means more.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
The Fan Poll is sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub, home of award-winning pizza and $2 tall boys. All day, every day.
Bo knows many people. He talks to the interesting ones on this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, Reese, what do you have on the poll today?
Daily Fan Poll sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub. It asks, will the Cavs win Game 4 and tie up the Eastern Conference semifinals tonight? 75% say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? You with them?
Yeah. I mean, I have no confidence because I don't remember a time I've enjoyed watching this team, a Cleveland Cavaliers squad less.
Yeah, it's a tough watch.
For Harden and Mitchell, you got to have more than 50. You have to do what you did back on Saturday, so you have to have 54 or more points, and you're going to have to combine for less than 6 turnovers.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's also a tricky one. It kind of we had this conversation last week once about, we have it from time to time about what are you entitled to as a sports fan? Like, there's no scenario that this team wins anything beyond this series if they can win it. In my view, I don't. And even if I guess maybe if they got to the finals, I don't see how they could beat the Knicks, and they would get bombed by Oklahoma City. So that's kind of out there for you, I think, a little bit too, which makes it kind of a tricky watch. All right, time for 3 things on a Monday.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
Number 1 for me. This showed up on my on the Facebook this morning, my 14-year anniversary. On this day, I walked into Channel 10. Our then news director, Albert Tucker, great man, said, hey, you're going to interview Johnny Bench today. And I said, awesome. Let's do it. So I was excited to do so. I wore number 5 when I was a little guy, not because of Bench, because of George Brett, but also was very well aware of all of it. And as the buzz in the building started to happen that Johnny Bench is going to be here, Johnny Bench is going to be here, I was a little nervous, like, how's he going to be? So walk into the studio and we set it up like as it was going to be like a wall-to-wall sports taping. And so I went in there. It was just me one-on-one with Johnny Bench. And the first thing that jumped out to me was the size of his hands. His hands are the size of a catcher's glove. So that's the first thing that jumps out. I've never seen hands as big as Johnny Bench's hands. And you know what they say about people with big hands? They're great catchers, great hitters too. So we conduct the interview. He's the nicest guy ever. Every answer is great question, Bo. All of it. Like, could not have been more gracious. We get done doing the interview. He's making small talk. We're having a good time. And as we walk off the set, of no fault of their own, there are a line of 5 to 6, 7, 8 people from Channel 10 who wanted his autograph. As soon as Johnny saw that line, his demeanor changed in a blink. He looked at me, scoffed, kind of, and then begrudgingly signed some and just marched out. And I don't blame him. Probably wasn't in the brochure. And if you are an all-time great, you know, he didn't make $170 million playing baseball. So one of the things that's valuable, he's not Pete Rose. He doesn't sign 1 million autographs, like all of those things. And so he kind of marched out. And I also don't blame the people at Channel 10 for asking. Like, was a lot of their heroes was in the building. But it was probably the greatest discrepancy between what was an incredibly cool first 15 minutes and then a really awkward last minute and a half. Really awkward last minute and a half. And he just kind of stormed out, and that was it. And that was it. And he was so nice up until he saw the line for the folks wanting the autographs.
I'll make this my second thing, just a follow-up question to it. Like, how many of those who lined up you think were going to resell it, or are they just huge diehard Reds fans who just wanted Johnny Bench's autograph? Because I do feel bad just looking at, especially if you get it on your algorithm, like scalpers and resellers and that whole market where you wonder, it's just crushing the actual fan who just wants it because they're just a collection. They're a huge fan. And like, for him, seeing his signature probably all over eBay, it's like, well, I'm not getting any of that. What the hell?
Yeah. I would say that the group here were diehard Reds fans. I don't think that there was anybody
because they're probably so excited for that moment.
Yeah, you'd have to ask Wes. I know he was in the mix because I think he was maybe had the studio set for me. I can't remember exactly how it went, but I can't remember. I think he did begrudgingly sign some of them. I can't remember if he did all of them, but I think he begrudgingly signed them. But his attitude flipped immediately.
First thing for me, Bo, I've got a problem.
Okay.
And you saw a little bit of this problem on Saturday. There is a liquor store very close to the job that I work at on Saturday morning. And I've been in there for the first time 3 weeks ago. And they had something new. So I've been in each week after, and they've had something new.
Mm-hmm.
I just keep adding to my collection. And I'm not diminishing the collection nearly fast enough. And I don't know if I can stop going in there because it's so close. They need to quit having new stuff because I'm going to keep buying it.
This is my piece of advice. Tell nobody about this.
Oh, I'm not telling anybody where it is.
Nobody. Tell nobody. It'll all get wrecked if you do. My wife one time, my bourbon collection was very significant, probably 4 or 5 years ago, pretty massive. And she's like, "What are you going to do with all of this?" I said, "I'm going to drink it." She's like, "Oh." It's going to take a long time, but I'm going to drink it. Number 2 for me, we had a little Mutual of Omaha moment last night. I stacked up, but we had some trees that got blown over in the storms about a month ago, and we had a little. So I had it all cut up, and I piled it up. There's a couple of trees that were kind of worked for a perfect brace for it, and I just stacked the wood between the trees. So yesterday, I'm like, I got to burn some of this stuff before it just gets too soggy and it won't burn. So I started a fire last night, and we're enjoying that. As I pulled off one of the logs, chaos ensued as there was a mouse nest. Now, I'm familiar with mouse nests because I dealt with it quite a bit on the Ponderosa, and my kids are not. And you know who else is not? Buddy Garrity. My guy had no clue what was going on. Baby mice just fleeing in a million directions all at once. Mama mouse trying to get somewhere. I actually felt a little bit bad. I'm like, God, she went to all this work of building this house for her kids, and now it all came crashing down because I started a fire on a random Sunday. I can report that the murder dog did not get any of them. Now, part of that is I had to call him off one, and I was nudging it into the woods a little bit. But a little bit, and it was it's just crazy, like how different I grew up than my kids are. Like, one of them was screaming, no names. I'm like, what's it going to do? The thing's as big as your thumb. Like, what are we doing?
I realize with kids, like anything, it's just going to get them.
Yeah.
No idea how. It just will. Buckeye fans are going to get this tonight at 6:14. Ohio State football is going to do everybody a favor, including Ohio State football. We got a lot of reaction to it over the show. We want to thank everybody for chiming in on the YouTube chat at 971BFS. I'll just say his first name is probably the greatest response that I've seen to what could happen tonight at 6:14 from Adam. No last name, just for the Federales, their concern. He says, all I wanted last year was a Captain Jack Heritage Stripe jersey and could not find it anywhere. Such a lost opportunity for OSU. Resorted to eBay in China, and it looks spectacular.
I love all of the action on the Twitter page today on that, Reese, although I could do without the Ouija board. Scares me a little
scary,
bit.
Man.
Not so sure how I like that. We have maybe it's as big a reunion as I could think of coming up here next. Maddie's out today, so the General and AR are back together for 3 hours. A little Rothman and Carpenter coming up next on The Fan.
Just have your dump button ready. We'll be back tomorrow, Bishop and Friends, 9 to noon, right here on The Fan.
T-Bone and Tyvis are everything you want in a delicious breakfast. Lots of empty calories, no nutritional